All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get ready for some football here from Ogemaw Heights. We're live in West Branch, getting things underway between the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators and the Ogemaw Heights Falcons. I want to welcome you in to the booth here. Charles Trail along with Scott Carter getting you ready for pregame here between the Gladiators and the Falcons. This is the Carter Farm Bureau pregame show. And Scott, a lot of things we want to talk about here, but the first and foremost, I want to welcome you to Next Level Broadcasting. It's great to have you with us.
I tell you what, when I was a kid, I dreamed of being a Traverse City Trojan, playing football under the Friday night lights. And I actually also dreamed of doing this. So this is, we're bringing it to fruition here. I'm glad to be here. This is going to be great.
And kind of full circle moment for you.
Right.
Your son played for the Gladiators.
Absolutely.
And now you're here with Next Level Broadcasting, and we're glad to have you. Well, you did do a pregame segment, and before we tease that, I would like you to have an opportunity to talk a little bit about what you anticipate to see here tonight between these two teams that both come in 1 win, no losses.
Yeah, for sure. If we go back to history, they played 2 years ago. Ogemaw had their way with the Gladiators. However, that was a 4-5 Gladiator season, and Ogemaw's one of their best seasons ever. So both predominantly running teams, and so we're going to see a lot of crash mouth running. Last week, Ogemaw faced Flint Hamady.
Yeah.
Hamady, yeah.
And hammered them.
Hammered them to 45 yards. They kept them to defense. They used a couple of their main people.
Yep.
Throw this on when it happens when you get older. Yeah, the Kelvin Marshall.
Yeah.
And I think he plays both ways. So he's apparently a beast. And Jake Fernelius, they kept him to that. The QB was 4 for 4.
Yeah.
Which 167 yards. So that, it's hard to say exactly what that was. But then a 1-2 punch on offense with Connor Lambert and Brenson Keith. So, we're going to see, I think we're going to see a lot of similar type of offenses and even defenses. So that'll be awesome.
So we're going to check out that in the segment here, brought to you by Scott Carter Farm Bureau Insurance with Coach Carter's Keys to the Game.
Coach Carter's Keys to Success, brought to you by Carter & Associates Agency, Farm Bureau Insurance of Michigan. Welcome back to Coach Carter's Keys for Success. Congrats, St. Francis. Great game last week. You executed the plan that you set out to do and came away with a win. That's fantastic. Now, here we go into week 2. The keys for success are, I think, these. Establish the run again. Do that with some quick, short passes, and definitely team tackling. Here's why. Last week, Ogemaw Heights defense held their opponent to 43 yards rushing, 95 yards total. So that's a pretty strong defense, apparently. They did this with 2 leaders, Marshall and Fernelius. If St. Francis, being primarily a run offense, wants to establish the run, they'll have to slow those 2 down with some counter blocks, some double teams, etc. to establish the run. The other aspect of those stats I mentioned was there was more passing than running. That means passing is an option. Ideally, we achieve this but with some quick post outs or end crossing patterns to establish the run due to the threat of the pass. Finally, Ogemaw packs a 1-2 punch with 2 powerful backs, Brenson and Lambert. Last week they combined for 120 yards of running. One of the things I saw St. Francis do wonderfully was team tackling. They'll want to build on that and make sure they prevent Ogemaw from getting any extensive long plays, any huge plays with that team tackling. Everybody on the ball making that tackle. Well, here we are, guys. The time for planning has passed. Time to put on that helmet, buckle up the pads, and get ready to perform. Do all the things, all the aspects that you worked on all week long, and get her done. Good luck. Tear 'em up, boys. This has been Coach Carter's Keys for Success.
All right, there you have it. Coach Carter's Keys to the Game. And we are about ready to get this game unlocked as we have the national anthem, as the Gladiators are now walking in and beginning to take the field from the visitors' locker room as they come out. Gladiators tonight, Scott, wearing the classic golden helmet with the white jersey and the navy pants. It's a great looking uniform tonight.
Those are sharp. Those are absolutely sharp. My mom would have appreciated something like that when I was a kid. We often had white didn't practice, they're filthy. So these hopefully will be a lot easier to keep clean. Boy, they're very sharp.
And you see it right there. Our cameraman tonight, Isaac Dunson, Central Michigan University student who made the trek up here to West Branch from Mount Pleasant. And, well,
fire up chips.
The fire up chips and the shots that you see tonight provided by Central Michigan University student Isaac Dunson. So he's our head of videography tonight and doing a great job so far. Well, Scott, as we get into this game, I know you wanted to talk about establishing the run, which team was going to be able to build that ground game, and who was going to be able to do it most effectively.
It'll be interesting to see this Ogemaw team typically runs a 5-2 defense. So it'll be interesting to see if they stick in that regardless of what we show them. And so if that's the case, I would say that, for sure, St. Francis is coming in looking for that. Here comes their band.
Yeah, the band will be coming out on the field, the Falcon Marching Band.
There's nothing like a Friday night with the band, with the lights, especially when it's not raining. On the way over, it was raining pretty bad. I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting. I personally like to play in the rain.
Right.
It's a little different thing to sit and watch it, though. So, yeah, this will help the band for sure, not having rain.
So we're going to send it down to the field level audio. Ogemaw Heights Falcon Marching Band, you have the microphone.
Hi, it's Kevin Klein from Tierport. We're proud to help keep you connected to high school sports in Northern Michigan, so you can stay in the game all season long with TVC, your Northern Michigan connection.
Discover Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union in Traverse City. We make banking secure and convenient with biometric logins and remote deposit capture. Whether you need loans, mortgages, or credit cards, we've got you covered. Manage your finances effortlessly with our online banking services. Grow your savings with our competitive rates and savings products. Experience the difference with Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union. Visit tcfedcu.org for more.
Okay, and now we are officially ready to play some football from Ogemaw Heights High School. Gladiators and Falcons coming up right now. We want to thank our pregame show sponsors, Scott Carter Farm Bureau Insurance, Traverse Catholic Credit Union, and the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport, allowing us to fly down here so you can chill at home or maybe from the comfort of wherever you find comfort. Maybe it's on a beach somewhere warm, and you can do that via the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. Gladiators coming in 1-0, Falcons 1-0. Both teams had runaway victories in week one against Flit-Hamady for the Falcons and Glen Lake for the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators. So buckle in, make yourself comfortable. Should be a great night of football. Let us take you to game time here. Charles Strill, Scott, what do you think?
One of the things that I love is that both these squads have a tradition. St. Francis, as long as I can ever remember, St. Francis has a very solid tradition of football. And, obviously Ogemaw Heights does too. Great group of fans out here watching. Parents are very supportive of the program. That's key for any successful program. And it's exciting. With one game, in their belts, here go the Gladiators, their first road game. There's always the jitters for that first road game. But last night we had the JV.
Yep.
Yeah, 21 to 20. So a real close game between these two teams at the JV level. We're excited to see what will happen here.
Dangerous return man all the way back for the Ogemaw Heights Falcons. Corey Cannons, number 11, stands at his own 2-yard line. It'll be Sam Wildfong to tee it up. And this is some scouting here because Ogemaw Heights must have saw the tape on Sam Wildfong because he's got about a 50% touchback rate so far in the young season.
Yeah, I was looking at some numbers, and that young man put on about 35 pounds from last year to this year. So you can see it in his leg. That's a beautiful boot.
It's going to be fielded by Cannons at his own goal line. He's going to bring it out, and it's a touchback.
Oh, nice.
So his foot was in the end zone. So here we go, first crack at it for the Ogemaw Heights Falcons, starting at their own 20-yard line on their first possession of the game. And that'll bring out this Falcon offense that put up 52 points last week versus Flint Hamady. But this Traverse City St. Francis Gladiator defense has had a good test in week 1 versus Glen Lake. So let's see which team's able to start and get their legs underneath them initially.
Yeah, I think a couple things I want to be watching, obviously, is the interior. But our defensive ends, we want them to stay parallel to the line. They have a tendency to sometimes be perpendicular, and that makes you.
Yep, there's a pitch out to Cannons trying to get the outside corner, and he does give him roughly 5 yards on that first down carry. Actually, the far side officials marking him good for a first down.
Wow.
Knocked out of bounds eventually at the 30-yard line. So Cannons shows that speed on the edge there. First play from scrimmage and picks up a first down.
That's the exact thing I'm talking about. Defensive ends have to make sure they maintain containment. And if not the ends, we're going to bring up the corner and have him do it as well. So we just want to make sure that they're maintaining some sort of parallel lineup to the line and skedaddling when he's definitely full of speed.
Eon Jones hands this one up the middle. That is to Matthew Gates. Excuse me, number 37, not 27. That's Calvin Marshall. Calvin Marshall, a 3-year varsity starter here for the Ogemaw Heights Falcons. His father actually played on the 1997 Ogemaw High School team that won the state championship.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Definitely, we're going to see that kind of tradition on both sides.
Yeah, you see a lot of lineage here and bloodlines as there's another handoff. Marshall picking his way out to about the 37-yard line, and you're going to see a steady diet of Calvin Marshall here tonight.
Oh, for sure, and on both sides of the ball. So I watched some video introducing the team and the seniors, and there's no. We played a lot against teams like Flint Northern.
Yeah.
None of that size, but these are strong young men for sure.
You get some really wide splits here by this Falcon offensive line. Eon Jones with the full house set behind him. Cannons to the top of the screen. Here's a direct dive handoff to Marshall, and he's got enough for a Falcon first down out to the Falcon 44-yard line.
Right up the middle. The defense is definitely going to want to do some stunts, try and get, if you're being double teamed down there, that's where we used to call it make a pile, just fall. Make a pile, they have to run over you, you get in the way if nothing else.
And you see here tonight so far in this first drive, the Gladiators coming out with 5 down defensive linemen. That's a little different than what they had last week versus Glen Lake. So let's see if that 5-man front can stop this offensive inside. There's a counter, and it's bottled up. It was Connor Lampert who was on the misdirection there, but the first Gladiator in there to make the stop, and a big one at that, was number 73, Jake Reinick. And Reinick was in there for the, I can't say tackle for loss because they spotted the ball about 6 inches ahead of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Reinick, they were on a slant there, and that just worked out quite perfectly.
Here's Jones looking to boot out. He's got a completion to Marshall. Marshall into Gladiator territory. Marshall dragging 2 Gladiators, and he's down at the Gladiator 35-yard line. So a nice play there by Calvin Marshall on the first pass play of the game. Eon Jones connects with Marshall, putting the Falcons into Gladiator territory. And this drive looking good right now. So far, this drive has moved a total. Well, let's see, they got the ball at the 20.
At the 20, yeah.
So you're looking at about a 45-yard drive so far for the Falcons on their opening possession of the game. Jones is going to hand this one around, and coming around the far side, that's Corbin Canitz. And Corbin Canitz gets about 6 yards on that first down carry. So we've seen this Falcon offense starting to get into some rhythm, Scott, and we saw the boot there to Marshall, and now you see some of the counters and the misdirection after they set up the dive initially.
Absolutely. Big Ethan Hawk in there. I was following him. That run came right off his backside, you know, so the right side of the offensive line is definitely having some success moving the St. Francis Gladiators.
We've got a timeout here taken by the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators, and as they take the timeout to maybe settle their defense down a little bit, we're going to step aside. You're watching high school football here on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back.
Discover Travers Catholic Federal Credit.
Do you like the outdoors? Do you like action, being part of a team, and big machines? At Team Elmer's, we're not just building roads and infrastructure, we're building dreams and communities. And as a 100% employee-owned company, we value every employee owner with a commitment to excellence and a culture where everything we do it with heart. Every day brings new opportunities for adventure. Apply now at teamelmers.com/careers and be part of something extraordinary.
And welcome back out of timeout here. It's second and very manageable for the Falcons. Jones looking to pass, got a man deep down the sideline looking for Canitz, out of bounds, covered there on the far or near side sideline by Gabe Pfeifferich. And Eon Jones now 1 for 2. That pass was just a little bit too errant right from the start, Scott.
Yeah, you know, it's pretty windy. I was down on the field before the game, and it's definitely pretty windy, blowing the flag around quite a bit. And so, you know, that pass is going to be a challenge. He tried to throw a 20-some yard pass.
There's a quick hitter right up the middle, and that should be enough to move the chains, Scott.
Yeah, that offensive line is still having their way on that right side of the offensive line. Those, you know, Russell, Winowicki. No, I'm looking at the wrong chart already. That's unfortunate. But yeah, definitely the right side of the line, Ethan Hawk, definitely helping out his fullback get to where he needs to be.
So Eon Jones and the Falcons here have controlled this possession from their own 20 now to the Gladiator 23-yard line. They're going to put Canitz to the near side of the screen, full house backfield. There's a handoff dive to Marshall, and Marshall's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. First Gladiator in there was Ethan Daziak, and Daziak gets credit for the tackle, no gain on the play.
Daziak, great kid. I know the family. A senior this year. You know, I think one of the things, he's got an older brother, Mason, who played. And he's definitely hit the weight room, and that showed on that play. He was able to get in there and just be strong on that defensive play. We need a lot more of that, for sure.
Welcome to Culver Meadows, Traverse City's premier family-owned senior living community specializing in dementia care. Here at Culver Meadows, we cultivate the perfect environment for your loved ones by combining our setting, scenery, and social interaction of our residents. We pride ourselves at being an extension of your own family here at Culver Meadows.
Call 231-633-9430.
And a short kick, and it's down at about the 37-yard line.
Right on the 35 looks like what he's marking.
Want to apologize there for the loss of audio. We had a couple glitches in the video as well, but we're back on track here as the Gladiators look to get back on track here as they're down 6-0 after rendering an opening score touchdown to the Ogemaw Heights Falcons. Here's the first look at the Gladiator offense. Open up with an I formation, handoff up the middle, picking his way for a roughly 5-yard gain is Lisinski. And eventually brought down, but not before a nice gain of 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, I tell you what, one of the great things about a lot of these kids is they played together on the state team.
Yep.
Baseball, that is.
Two-back formation now for the Gladiators. Handoff up the middle, and that's Evan Bellinger, and he's stacked up, tackled right at the 40-yard line. First Falcon in there by my eye was Eon Jones, the quarterback, who's got in there to mix it up a little bit and make the tackle for no gain.
It's always a little scary to see my quarterback out there crushing people on defense.
You like that. I mean, he's setting the tone.
Well, he is for sure.
Here's 3rd and 5 now for the Gladiators. Tyler Endress sends 3 receivers to the bottom, 2 to the top, empty set. Dasiak in motion. Endress going to boot to his left, got a completion to Bellinger, and Bellinger lowers the shoulder, runs through a tackle, still on his feet into Falcon territory. Right. Eventually brought down, but not after a nice gain.
25-yard reception there when it's all said and done.
And they just snuck him out in the flat.
Well, you can't, likewise, both ways. It goes both ways. You're going to tackle someone. You want to make sure that you're wrapping them up. And 2 guys there tried and failed. So he was able to run right through it.
So first down now at the Falcon 40. 2-back set, 2 tight ends. Endress loses the ball, and it looks like the Gladiators recovered it. I believe it fell into the hands of Lisinski, and that's a very fortunate break. Excuse me, Dasiak comes out of there with it, but a very fortunate bounce for the Gladiator offense.
Well, you can tell he has the Sellers bloodline there, Dasiak. Quick football IQ, was able to see it was down, just get down on it, right? That's the biggest thing. You don't want to try and scoop it up and run. Just get on the ball, cover it up. He did a great job. Well, he definitely stays composed under pressure.
Actually picked up a yard.
Well, there we go.
Second and 9. There's a handoff to Thompson, and Thompson is pushing his way. Actually, that's Cooper Sellers, excuse me. And Cooper Sellers is near first down yardage, about 3 inches short of that first down line to gain.
I was going to say, yeah, the side ref looked like he was going to mark it a first down, and then he kind of backed that up a little bit. This would be a great time for a tush push.
Yeah, I mean, definitely an opportune time to just try to keep the chains moving. Bellinger and Lisinski behind Endress. They're going to motion Sellers. Straight handoff to Bellinger, and there's not a lot of room, but he's keeping the legs moving. Eventually met by Eon Jones, but not after Bellinger picks his way for a 4-yard gain and a first down for the Gladiators.
There we go.
Here we got a little replay here, that Bellinger run. Take a look at that, just keeping those legs moving. There's the replay there, and Bellinger doing a nice job of getting his back turned and then just kind of backing up for some more yards.
Well, none of these things happen without the offensive line continuing until the whistle. There was definitely some nice blocks there. We'll highlight that next time.
Here's 1st and 10 from the Falcon 26. Endress is going to keep this one, and he's brought down. A nice play made near the line of scrimmage by the Falcons. That's Jacob Fernelius, number 53. And what color orange or yellow would you say that is, Scott?
School bus?
School bus yellow? Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Or cheese.
Oh.
Like a good cheddar.
Oh, okay.
I love cheese.
It's not a sharp cheddar, but
yeah, definitely.
Here's 2nd and 9 after the 1-yard gain on the Endress keeper. Full house set now for the Gladiators. No receivers on the field. Here's a handoff. Working down around the left sideline. And almost a horse collar tackle there. I'm surprised we didn't see that called. And that was Braxton Lisinski moving the rock there for the Gladiators. And he's inches away from another 1st down.
I used to do a lot of that. You end up ripping a jersey or whatever the case might be. So, you know, as long as you're not holding on to that shoulder pad, you're gonna be okay with that horse collar.
And they say you have to have your hand in the shoulder pad, whereas that was just on the jersey. So,
absolutely.
You know, in hindsight, good call there by that near side line judge not to throw the hanky on that. Anderson gun 2 back now. He's going to have a design quarterback power. He powers through to the 10-yard line, picking up the 1st down. Check out this formation here, Scott. I mean, they just say, hey, we're going to put our 6'2", 215-pound quarterback and let him do his thing. There's that power.
Watch. Yeah, absolutely. The leading blockers. I know I'm wrong, but a lot of times I feel like I could run through that hole. I definitely couldn't. He's a stud. But the point I'm making is, you know, they opened that up just wonderfully for him, and then he just has to follow the big boys. He's pretty big himself, actually, at 208.
Jeter and Sellers to the bottom of the formation. Andrus is going to keep this one himself, and he's got about 4 yards on that 1st down carry. The ball is marked, or the 1st down was at the 10-yard line, so this is 1st and goal right now for the Gladiators. They do have to get a touchdown, and the ball is now at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, 1st and goal sets up, you know, it kind of changes. Are we thinking 4 downs no matter what? Or with Wildfong and his accuracy and the wind having died down a little bit, or definitely in their favor, will they end up looking that way? Is definitely effective. Keeps the linebackers just kind of looking to see.
Here's the play right there. Lisinski cuts it back, and we got the replay there. And Lisinski scores it to put the Gladiators up on the board.
We knew we were in for a battle when we came down here, especially indicated by the JV game 2021.
Sam Wildfong now on to attempt this point after attempt. Off to a great start here in this game, Scott. Wildfong puts it up and puts it through. A lot of additional leg there to spare. And the Gladiators cap off that drive. And you saw a lot of different types of packages, plays. They went spread. They went full house. They had some design quarterback powers. They had a little nice boot. Evan Bellinger had that 27-yard catch and run. Saw a lot of everything for the Gladiators that possession, Scott.
One of the things I love is Traverse City football is Traverse City football is Traverse City football. And what I mean by that is you see stuff that Larry Sellers brought up from downstate when he came up here to take over. He had a assistant coach, and they brought that offense from down there, that counter. At Traverse City, I went to the public school. We ran that same one, that counter where you have the the running backs behind the quarterback, and they're going in all different directions. It really does make takes away the ability for the linemen to pin their ears back and just go. They have to be looking and seeing where things are going to be.
As you can see there on the scoreboard here, 7-6 in favor of the guests. That's the Gladiators on top of the Falcons. As we get ready to send this one away. Once again, Sam Wildfong, Cannott's back at his own end zone. I think he might have even been a little surprised by the kicking prowess of Wildfong on that opening kickoff, Scott.
Well, since they skipped the opportunity to kick a field goal, perhaps that's not they're not as fortunate to have a kicker like Wildfong. He is definitely something special.
Also a great baseball pitcher as well, as he sends this one away deep for the Glads. It's a line drive rocket.
Right.
Cannons catches it, fakes it. Now he's going to take it out. He's at the 25. Now he's at the 30. Can he break the tackle of Wildfong? He can't. Tackled at the 33-yard line, but a 33-yard return by Cannons. So the Falcons will take over at their own 33 with 48 seconds left to go in this first quarter.
He was working his way through that defense pretty substantially. Some very nice moves. Cannon's definitely a talented player.
As you see right now, there is a yellow hanky down, and it's a hold, and it's going against the Falcons. That'll back them up 10 yards from the spot of the foul, depending.
At one point, I played.
Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. We're working to figure out some technical difficulties here. Here's the replay as Cannons was tackled out of bounds, and he was eventually brought down there by Lisinski. Actually, excuse me, that's Ethan Daziak.
Right up the middle.
Marshall, the ball carrier there.
Taken down by Wildfong, right up the middle. Nice play by him.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I love this matchup between Wildfong and Marshall. Anytime that Marshall's running that little dive play, as the Falcons are now in the I formation, handoff and chugging along for a roughly 6 or 7 yard gain. But let's check the penalty marker here, Scott, thrown by the near side line judge.
Usually that's going to indicate holding. Holding.
Yep, there you have it. So 2 penalties now on the Falcons. And so far, those are the first 2 penalties of the game, both holding calls against Ogemaw Heights.
Well, a lot of times, those adjustments get made, and that makes it tough on the offensive linemen. And if they don't keep their feet rolling, the holding seems to follow that. So obviously working in St. Francis's favor. It's hard to keep a drive going if you're going backwards.
Yep, certainly the case there. 15 seconds remaining in this opening quarter. Let's see if they get another playoff. Marshall, Cannons, and Lampert in the backfield. Here's a handoff and a big hole by Lampert. Lampert breaks free. Lampert is putting on the Jets. Lampert is going to take this one all the way for a touchdown. Give him a grand total of 77 yards
77,
all the way for 6 points on the final play of the first quarter for Connor Lampert. Let's take a look at this one, Scott. I mean,
watch on the outside.
Just running away from the defenders, and I think that was a miscommunication of the linebacker level there for the Gladiators. The eyes got caught in the backfield or in the wrong place, and Lampert, you can't blink on him because he was gone in the blink of
So here we are at 12-7. The Falcons with the early flight. That was a beautiful run, 70-some yard run. Just got outside of the containment and was able to, shake off Pfeifferich on the left side.
So we're going to go ahead, step aside. After 1 quarter of play here, Falcons 12, Gladiators 7. You're watching high school football on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back after this.
Welcome to Culver Meadows, Traverse City's premier family-owned senior living community specializing in dementia care. Here at Culver Meadows, we cultivate the perfect environment for your loved ones by combining our setting, scenery, and social interaction of our residents. We pride ourselves at being an extension of your own family here at Culver Meadows. Call 231-633-9430.
And here we are, welcome in. It's officially now the second quarter after that huge 77-yard touchdown run by Connor Lampert. The Falcons and the Gladiators, we've got a shootout brewing here from Ogemaw Heights. I hope you're tuning in and enjoying it. We have been experiencing a little technical bugs here in the first half of this one as a pooch kick is going to go up and fielded at the 30-yard line by the Gladiators in a short return. And the Gladiators will set up shop there after about a 2-yard return by Alex Jetter.
Yeah, Jetter, also an asset on the baseball team, played in the outfield, so he had hands. We had our hands team in apparently. He's tall, great head on his shoulders. Good kid, good run back.
Just a good job of making sure that he fielded that squib kick or pooch kick correctly and safely, and then just did the smart thing, try to get as much yards as you can, but make sure that you got a good grasp on the football.
It's a lot of faith in your defense to not kick it down the field. Either that or you're concerned about us running it back.
So let's see what the Gladiators do on their second opportunity with the football here. From the 40-yard line. We've got a fumble in the backfield, and Tyler Endress is able to get back down on top of it, but it will be a loss of 2.5, 3 yards on that first down mishap.
Yeah, that's always tough. One of the great things about the counter is it keeps the defense guessing. And the other side of it is sometimes it keeps the offense guessing as
yeah.
well. So, yeah, that goes both ways.
2nd and 14 now as they mark it at the in between the 38 and 39-yard line. Empty set. Tyler Endress in the empty set by himself. Daziak in motion, and we've got a flinch by the left side of the offensive line, and that's going to back the Gladiators up even further.
Yeah, you just can't afford that. I was guessing that was probably going to be a quarterback keeper. Fullback comes back in motion, lead blocker. Zach just excited to try and get the upper edge on his defender, and Zach Wanawicki stepped across on that one. You keep those to a minimum, we'll be okay.
So it's a false start, and it'll back them up another 5. Push them inside their own 35.
So here we are in the same setup. Maybe we're going to try and run the same play. Fullback in motion, no motion, pass play. A 5 and out to number 3, Alex Jetter. Nope, to Daziak, correction. Nice play, good hands. A 10 and out, that's ideal for what we're looking for here. Just, I'd love to see them do a lot more of that. Keep the quarterback comfortable. Some nice, easy, short passes. Last week, our interceptions came from long attempts that were covered. Here we go with that same passing. Now, a lot of times that can open up the run game.
Got a timeout taken here.
Yeah, they couldn't get the player off in time, and so I think they wanted to avoid 12 men on the field.
Yeah, that would be a costly penalty as it's now 3rd and 8 after the completion. 5-yard free penalty would put it at the right around the 50-yard line, and the Gladiators only need about a long 2 yards there. So Scott, obviously you had the 77-yard touchdown run, but previous to that, it's been methodical offense for both teams. Right now, the Gladiators facing a large third down. It would be really important for them to keep possession of the ball here and not give it back to the Falcons, with an opportunity for the Falcons to go up 2 scores.
Yeah, by 2 is definitely crucial. It'd be fantastic to be able to get, a good 6 yards off this, and then maybe take a chance with going for a 4th and 2 or less. If we're Dan Campbell's here, we're going for it no matter what. But he's not, and I know Josh is willing to make some gambles, but like you said, this is crucial that we can keep this moving. So hopefully, Tyler can.
Let's see what they come out. They do come out in the full house formation here, Scott. 3rd and 7. Need to get to the Falcon 47. They're going to hand this and turn it, and a great play made in the backfield. Guess who? Calvin Marshall beat his man and was able to bring down Daisiak for about a 1-yard gain. So this will be 4th and 6, and it looks like the Glads are sending out the punt unit. Here's that play right there. Marshall just shot the gap and made the tackle. There's the replay bug up top in the top right corner. We'll be featuring that at different times tonight, but Marshall making a play here.
Yeah, he looked like a wrestler. Low center of gravity down, got through and just grabbed a foot. That's all you need. Just trip him up. Great play by Marshall.
Sam Wildfong sends this one away, and he's rough. That should be a penalty. It is.
There's the laundry.
Cannons has it. He's going to bring this one back, and he's brought down. But will this penalty be a roughing?
Yeah, absolutely. They both ran into him. It wasn't as though they were blocked. I'd love to see that one again. If it's probably too late to do that.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as though they got blocked into it.
Right.
So I'm pretty certain we'll see that. That's still likely going to be another kick. That would roughing the kicker be a 10-yard?
It would be a first down here for the Gladiators if this is
that.
roughing the kicker is indeed the penalty. On the return for the Falcons there briefly, it was Elijah Smith bringing that one back along with Cannons. They faked that potential reverse handoff, and these officials are gathering up here near the 45-yard line to try and determine what's going to happen here, because there were 2 Falcons that went and collided with Sam Wildfong, the punter. While we have
I told everybody on Facebook to make sure you chat in, and I've yet to look at one of them. So I'm so ingrained in this game.
So that will indeed be a 15-yard penalty.
15 yards. That is key. That is huge. You were you There we go.
Yep.
First down. Definitely a momentum shift. You get kind of like a thriller, right? You got bad news, good news, bad news. And unfortunately, the bad news ends up. our defense. Fortunately, that went a little bit too far for all the St. Francis fans out there.
So if you're just now joining us, you haven't missed much, but the Gladiators did cough it up on a football fumble. And it's now 2nd and 10 after the Falcons tried to deliver what could have been a knockout punch on 1st and 10.
3 backs. Oh,
There's a handoff, straight dive up the middle, and the Gladiators do a good job of snuffing that one out.
Jacob Kraska came through and just put a wallop on the quarterback immediately. It had already been handed off, but just nice to see that kind of stuff. That will shake things up so they know they can't just sit back there and relax.
Yep. This is a big 3rd down right now in the game, Scott, because if the Falcons can pick up this 1st down, keep this momentum building, then they might be able to put another score on the board. But for St. Francis, if they can get the ball back after coughing it up on that turnover, this would be huge. Here's a boot pass. It's hit in the air. It's tapped up. It's caught by, let's see who came out of there with it. It was ricocheted off of a deflection, and it was caught. I believe a Falcon came down with it, and it was Calvin Marshall.
Well, surprise, surprise.
Who caught that. Let's take a look at this play because, boom, right there. Who's got the ball? It's Calvin Marshall. Yeah. And so that will force a punt, and the Gladiator defense needed that one. And you saw there they brought some pressure up the A-gap, Scott, and that pressure really caused that pass to come out of there prior than Eon Jones wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, it was a quick delivery, and Alex Jeter at 6'3" has a pretty big wingspan apparently because he was able to just reach up and block that one. So fantastic play by him. He's another asset on that baseball team that went to the States. And tall kid, I'm told he has a great head on his shoulders. Yep. Probably, according to one of the dads, probably one of the brightest kids on the team, and it wasn't his dad that said it.
There you go, and that's the true compliment you can have. So we want to give a shout-out to our friends at Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union. Listen, they're celebrating their 75th anniversary just like the Gladiator football team is this year. And Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union is, once again, your all-in-one financial service provider helping you invest in yourself and those around you. Federally insured and equal housing lender. That is the Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union. Here bringing you Gladiator football on Next Level Broadcasting. It's a pleasure to be bringing this one to you. We apologize for some of the glitches we've had in the stream in audio and video. We're working to get those bugs sorted out here. But right now, as it stands, Falcons up 12-7, 5 points lead over the St. Francis Gladiators. Eon Jones getting ready to send this one away from his own 20-yard line. Back deep for the Gladiators to handle this punt is Lisinski. He's going to field it on a hop and is brought down at the 35-yard line, about a 2-yard return. So, Scott, the Gladiators do force a 3-and-out, a much-needed 3-and-out after they coughed up the football on the fumble. And I think that was a great defensive stand for St. Francis because Ogemaw Heights really could have seized the momentum there.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things, bad things are going to happen, right? Just like with insurance.
Yeah.
Right? Bad things are going to happen. You want to have an insurance policy there to help you, right? And likewise here, bad things happen. What are you going to do? Are you resilient? Are you going to be able to, forge the field and get the ball back?
Endress now an empty set. 1 H-back, 2 receivers to the bottom of the screen. That's Daziak in motion. They're going to swing it out in the flat, and that's incomplete, intended for Daziak. Good coverage there applied by the secondary member, Jackson Ziegler, for the Falcons.
Yeah, we do have some people tuning in and shouting out on the Facebook chat. So thank you, Anna. My biggest fan is there. And Larry Larry. Yes, thank you. I'm glad to hear that things sound good. Hopefully we can keep the sound steady.
Here's 2nd and 10 now. Hand off to Lisinski. He's got the edge. Can he get a block? He can. Daziak allows Lisinski to stay up on his feet. Lisinski down the sideline, out of bounds at the Falcon 34-yard line. And just for good measure, Sam Wildfong finishing his block. And let's take another look at this here, Scott, because you see this block here on the edge by Daziak. Lisinski keeping his balance, running the sideline, tiptoeing out of bounds. That's the type of momentum booster, and you see Wildfong there finishing that block. Those are the type of plays.
I didn't hear a whistle.
That's right.
Right?
You got to finish your block, and Sam Wildfong doing a nice job right there. Endress is going to hand this one off.
There's that counter.
Yep, here's Daziak, and he's got about 2 yards on that counter play. Looks like the Gladiators are going up-tempo right now, Scott, as Tyler Endress has already got this play from the sideline. It's 2nd and 7.
We're sitting at a point where your conditioning is crucial, and you're feeling that you have the upper hand with your conditioning over there, so you push the tempo.
Full house set once again. Straight dive to Lisinski, and Lisinski is going to dive to the 30-yard line.
I mean, honestly, if you could get 3 or 4 yards every time, why pass?
Right.
Right? So it's good to see this. They're not giving them a lot of opportunity to make adjustments, send adjustments in from the sidelines, keep things rolling.
Seems like the Gladiators might have found something now with this offensive line in this hurry-up offense, giving that offensive line a rhythm. A couple chunk plays here that have put them at the 30-yard line of the Falcons. Daziak shifts to the gun 2-back set with Endress. And here's a handoff to Lisinski trying to bounce it out wide, puts his shoulder down, still moving the feet, and he's got a first down. Wow, that's just sheer effort there by Braxton Lisinski. Take a look at this one. So watch the left side of this offensive line. And
absolutely.
Ben Eckler, Jeter, and then Walter. But the finishing end of that is all Lisinski.
Yeah, definitely nice to Jeter, Eckler, Walter. They get him a few yards, and then after that, he carried it from there, which is that's exactly what all we need. Just give him a chance to get past that backfield.
Full house set on 1st and 10 from the 24. Handoff now to Cooper Sellers. He cuts it up, gets a block. Cooper Sellers is in for 6. Gladiators answer back. We have a ball game.
24 yards?
24-yard touchdown, Cooper Sellers. And here, take a look at that. What a block here.
I love that cut back up for sure. Right, a lot of teams are always trying to break to the outside. He cuts it right up the middle.
And he got an excellent block.
It was probably Russell.
Yes.
Coming up there, opening it up so he could cut back. Here we go for Wildfong.
Sam Wildfong on for this point after attempt. Gladiators go back up by 1. Wildfong puts this one through. It's good, and the Gladiators have regained and taken control of this game once again, courtesy of that Cooper Sellers 24-yard touchdown carry.
I'm watching Russell run off to the side, hopping almost. So that kind of stuff will reinvigorate your offense, and clearly he was pretty pleased with the play before that got him there, and got some high fives and some accolades when he got to the sidelines.
So we're going to go ahead and step aside. Gladiators up 14-12. You're watching high school football here on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back. We're coming back here.
Okay.
And after that Cooper Sellers touchdown run, Gladiators are up by 2.
What a huge swing to be able to hold them to the punt and then bring that back down and score. That is definitely a game changer right there.
Sam Wildfong getting ready to send this one away once again for the 3rd time this game. It's a high end-over-end kick. In play, bounced and field at the 5. Coming out of there is Lampert, and Lampert is brought down at the Falcon 13-yard line, so an 8-yard return for Connor Lampert. And let's see if this Gladiator defense has another 3-and-out in them, Scott, after forcing one on that previous play. But I do want to go back. The Falcons took a shot on 1st and 10 of that previous possession, and they really weren't able to get their footing underneath them after that incomplete pass. You think they go back to the ground game here with Marshall?
Well, it being an old traditional offense, quite likely. However, he was open. It's just a matter of he missed it. But it looks at 3 backs. We're going to run it first, right up the middle.
Yep, there's Marshall right there, and he was eventually brought down by Tyler Thompson, number Deuce for the Gladiators.
Another one of our baseball players, the shortstop, and second base. So fortunately, he was there to get pick that one off, if you will.
You got to really pack a lunch when you're going to bring down Calvin Marshall.
Yeah, you don't do it at the shoulders. Just like Marshall was doing earlier. I mean, that's one to just grab his ankles, grab it, drive through his legs, whatever, just to get him down.
Got some miscommunication here by the Falcons, trying to get the play in. Jones is going to roll, boot to his left, and it's intercepted.
Oh, there we go.
Wildfong. Wildfong's got it. Wildfong down at the 15-yard line.
7-yard return.
Wow, he was just sitting there in zone coverage, watching and reading the eyes. And
you laid that out perfectly.
Right here. Boom. And he was almost hiding in front of the official, and he just jumped that route one more time. Here you go, Scott. Check this out. So here's the replay, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see Sam Wildfong.
He just drops back into his zone.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
And here's 1st and 10 from the Falcon 15. Teams even with 1 turnover apiece now as Daziak trying to nose his way toward the 10-yard line. He's got about 5 or maybe 4 yards on the carry. The Gladiators do want to make a mention here, Scott. They will receive this opening kickoff in the 3rd quarter.
That is even huger. Is that a word?
Sure.
Huge. It's huge. Yeah, that is a big deal, right? Because if they can score right here, puts them up, and then come back with it, starting with it in the second half.
There's Tyler Endress in the shotgun. To his left is Bellinger, motioning Lisinski. Lisinski's going to get the jet handoff, gets a lead block. Can he get to the corner? Ooh, he's going backward, and he's tracked down out of bounds. Nice pursuit by the Falcon perimeter defense.
Number 2.
And that was Elijah Smith showcasing that speed.
Holy cow. Yeah, get him on the track team because he came all the way across. And, you're running for the outside, trying to get outside the containment. And that gave him time to just bolt across the field and make that tackle. Nice play by him.
So even though that Lisinski went out of bounds, the clock continues to roll here with 4 minutes and 35 seconds left in this first half. Gladiators need to get to about the 6-yard line for a first down. Andrews looking to pass, got a man open over the middle. It's Bellinger in for the touchdown, but there is a penalty marker down at the 18-yard line near the line of scrimmage.
I'm going to guess on the left end. Guy had great pursuit coming around, almost got to Endress. We'll see. Do they call the numbers here? I can't. It's hard to see what he's doing.
Here's a little look at the replay here, Scott. As I'm going to bring it up to you here, you'll see him moving back, but there it is,
right there. Yeah. So that's going to be your left end. Unfortunately, Alex just got beat on that one, and so he was a little bit of holding to keep him from getting to Endress, which obviously you understand why. That helped him get to the touchdown, but you just can't do that.
Biggest thing right now is making sure that you stay within field goal range right now for the Gladiators. Sam Wildfong, we saw in warm-ups, was good from about 35 yards. Right now he'd be looking at about a 38-yarder. Endress looking to throw, pumps it, completes it to Lisinski. He's down at the 5-yard line.
Showed that replay.
This is a great-looking throw by Tyler Endress.
Anybody that plays backyard football is going to agree with me that this is a crazy hard pass because you got to do the total rotation and come back around with that ball. Nice job.
And what a catch by Lisinski to climb the ladder there. And a big-time third down completion. Tyler Endress snapped that one off.
He did. He just let it go. Braxton, another one of our co-captains, just did a fantastic job bringing that in.
Now they go back to the full house formation. Handoff to Bellinger. Bellinger nosing his way into the goal line, and Evan Bellinger is in for the 4-yard plunge. Gladiators go up 20-12.
If you're a St. Francis fan, that's exactly what you want to see. And it's cool that they brought in Bellinger to do that. We haven't called his name a lot.
And he just worked off the combination block between John Carlson, Zach Winowicki, and big number 30, found his way in for pay dirt.
I have him listed as offensive line sometimes. So, you know, at 6 foot 227, he's despite being a baseball player, he's got some power behind him.
Oh yeah, some serious power. And Wildfong puts this one up, and it's good. And don't look now, but the Gladiators have reeled off 14 straight points to go up 21-12.
I told you I have some notes from dads and that sort of thing.
Sure.
One of the notes he made on Bellinger is he says, you know, he definitely hit the weights this summer, and it looks like it. He can bulldoze folks, and that's exactly what we saw. I mean, he just pushed his way through. The defense was there. It wasn't as though they weren't paying attention or anything like that, but he pushed his way through and was good. Another shout out, Brian Carter and Kingsley says that we're looking good. So I'll read all of those.
Oh yeah, glad to hear we're looking good. Everybody tuning in. Steven Stock saying, "Let's go, boys." Yes, Sammy. I'm assuming he's referring to Sam Wildfong, who made that interception there, Scott.
Well, listen, I was talking about Sam earlier, right? How he went from like 35 pounds. I'm going to put, if I'm a gambling man, and I am, I would put it that he's been working with Steve Stock. Steve is a trainer. We used to train back in the day over at Fit for You, right?
Okay.
That out of business now, that one. But, yeah, I'm sure Steve helped him put on some of that size.
Scott, is there any person in insurance that's not a gambling man or woman?
Well, I don't know. I know definitely we enjoy a beverage once in a while.
just thought I'd ask for full disclosure. But here's Sam Wildfong teeing it up now as the Gladiators have reeled off 14 straight to take what's very pivotal, a 9.2 possession lead over the Ogemaw Heights Falcons here with 3:44 to go in this first half. Well, Wildfong sends this one away. It's a high end-over-end kick, fielded at the 5. This is Lampert, and Lampert gets out to the 20. So a 15-yard return for Connor Lampert. And we've seen a couple drives stall out for the Falcons. There was that 3-and-out, and then the interception that the Gladiators were able to cash in on. So far, points off of turnovers, 7 for St. Francis, 0 for Ogemaw Heights, because each team has had a turnover so far in the game.
You know, there's one thing that I'm seeing right now. If you're, as a coach, you're always watching your players to see how they are. And the Gladiators are full of vigor, running enthusiastically, and maybe not so much from the other side.
Here's the first down. Jones and Marshall looked like they fumbled the exchange, and it looked like Marshall got back down on top of it, but that could have been terrible for the Falcons there if the Gladiators were able to pounce on that loose ball.
Yeah, anytime you have that kind of thing happening, those are just backbreakers for sure. That offensive line would probably love a chance to get off onto the sideline and get a breather. We got a couple players limping off the field.
Yeah, did you see who it was that was coming off a little limp?
Yeah, number 11.
Okay. We'll keep an eye on that. That's Corey Canitz. Here's an inside give, and the Gladiator defensive line looks like they were ready for that one. First Gladiator in there on the stop was Jacob Kraska.
Yeah, now we're putting him at a third and 7, would you say?
Yeah, I'd say from where it's marked, that's a long 7 yards, Scott.
Yeah, for sure.
Zoom out a little bit as you see the overall sights and scenes here from Ogemaw Heights High School.
Yeah, this is a nice facility. I looked at online, put it on maps. Somebody. One of the comments is from somebody. It says, "Go St. Francis." Love that. So now what did they get? that, 42-yard line's a great place to start. Lazinski, another one on that championship baseball team.
There's, you see the fair catch. Lasinski making a good, safe call on that one because he had the Ogemaw Heights defender bearing down on him, looking to potentially tee off on Braxton if he doesn't make that fair catch call. All right, here we go. 2 minutes, 5 seconds remaining in the first half for Tyler Anderson company. I formation. They're going to turn and hand to Lasinski. He's looking for a block. Tucks it back up inside off of left guard, and he's got about 2, maybe 3 yards on that first down carry.
We pulled the guard, and that's awesome to be able to pull 53. Zach Winowicki pulled to his left, put a nice trouncing on the defender. I didn't see who he hit, but I did see him pull and open that hole up a little bit for a couple of yards. That was fantastic.
Here's 2nd and 7. Full house now for the Gladiators once again. Andrus looking to throw, looking deep. He's got a man. It's caught. Evan Bellinger in the seam. Bellinger rumbling, stumbling, fumbling down to the 15-yard line. Bellinger's got a completion for 36 yards. Tyler Andrus. Middle it is. So if you're just now joining us, it was a 36-yard completion to Evan Bellinger. We've got a timeout taken here. And we want to give a shout out to Redmond Automotive. Gladiator fans and families, we know that sometimes your teen drivers get in the occasional fender bender or put a transmission out of order if they're, trying to drive that old manual transmission you got in the garage. When those occasions occur, trust the pros at Redmond Automotive to get your ride back on the road as quickly as possible. A full service and family owned and operated for over 35 years. That is Redmond Automotive. And, the engine right now for this Gladiator team, they've, when needed it most, converted on monumental plays. Tyler Andrus putting the ball up in the air, finding Lasinski. That time, the full house set play action boot found Evan Bellinger in the seam for 36 yards, and now Gladiators knocking on the doorstep for maybe another score before half.
Definitely the kind of plays I was hoping for early on, is just to get him some, I think I mentioned it in the pregame, just some quick passes, and he really seems a lot more comfortable. He's throwing from the front of his foot rather than falling backwards. Great stuff.
There's a quarterback keeper by Tyler Andrus, and he's going to be spun down after about a 3-yard pickup on 1st and 10. Gladiators need the 6-yard line, and we're under a minute now in this first half.
Going to keep things moving.
Gladiators do have 2 timeouts remaining as they send trips to the top of the screen. Sam Wildfong nearest us. Quick slant over the middle. It's tipped and deflected. Getting his hand on there was Corbin Kanitz, and he might have saved a touchdown, but if he could have got another finger on that one, Scott, he might have had an interception.
Yeah, he kind of read the guards, dropped back into formation, and the three receivers out, they have nowhere to go other than coming in, and we run that play quite a bit. So he obviously had done some scouting. He had done some looking at tape.
So we want to give an opportunity, or as we have this opportunity, we're going to shout out to Team Elmers. Established in 1956 and ever since, Team Elmers has been committed to building better communities, and they're proud to be bringing you the Team Elmers hardest working player of the game tonight. That is Team Elmers building better communities, and we'll be glad to do that hardest working player of the game announcement in the 4th quarter tonight, brought to you by Team Elmers. So that's a good one, and that'll be awarded in the 4th quarter here, and I think a lot of the Gladiators have been working hard so far, Scott.
Yeah, this isn't going to be an easy decision because we're seeing a lot of amazing play by the offensive line. Initially, like I said in the beginning, we had the two big hosses really holding Flint to 45 yards, leading the defense, and it showed in the beginning with St. Francis, but that offensive line has been just working hard. And what we're seeing, you highlighted it earlier, downfield blocking, 20 yards down, because there's no whistle. They're still going. And that to me is a reflection on good coaching.
And I just want to make a point that the Gladiator defense had his back up against the wall and has since gotten 3 straight stops. Right now, it's 4th down, and Sam Wildfong is about to tee it up here.
29-yard kick.
He's got the ball centered at right at the 19, so, yeah, definitely in Sam's range.
Oh, he certainly every extra point has gone far enough. What's going on?
I think the officials are coming together to see where the ball should be spotted. So, really unsure here what's going on, but it looked like they moved the ball back toward the middle of the field a little.
Still kind of messing with it. Meanwhile, Julie Duffing back in Traverse City. Let's go, boys. Bellinger, yeah, for sure. He is a beast. Here we go. Wildfong for 29-yarder.
Ethan Daziak, the holder. Jack Young, the snapper. And it looks like we've got a flag on the far side, an encroachment.
Oh, there we go.
And that will be against the Falcons, but it won't be enough for a first down.
It won't. So then do you go ahead and you kick it? I remember one time I played under Coach Uli, and, we got an encroachment. It moved us close, but not enough. And then we got a second one. He said, all right, heck with it. Let's go. And we ran it in. But in this case, well, we are switching out some players.
It looks like they're bringing Tyler Endress back in. And you know what? I'm going to go out on a limb here, Scott. This is a hard count. This is a hard count waiting to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a great time to do that.
Because really, I think this is a large risk if you do, in fact, run a play here, because you got basically 3 points in the bag with Wildfong. But here they go. They're going to line up. Endress is going to turn and hand to Evan Bellinger. Bellinger's keeping his legs moving, and he looks like he's got enough for a first down. Evan Bellinger.
Depending on the spot, this judge down here is coming in on the 5.
The 5 should be enough. A far side line judge is standing there. The near side line judge says no.
Uh-oh.
And a flag comes out late. What's crazy here, Scott, is the ball is marked at the 5.
Right.
But the far side down marker is outside of the 5 from our vantage point.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, real close. It looks like it's almost 5.5. So how is that? Well, actually.
So we've got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Ogemaw Heights.
The first down is actually the 1.
Oh, it's. Well, from where the marker was, I'm.
Yeah, that's definitely confusing. But it looked like it might have been an and goal.
So ultimately, the Gladiators forfeit 3 points there by choosing to go for it on 4th down. And I think you're right, Scott. I was looking at the down marker, thinking that it was still in play, but it was actually in goal.
Yeah.
So because they didn't punch it in, it's Falcon football with 35 seconds remaining. My apologies there for forgetting the down and distance, but
that's all right.
So much going on, and I'm looking across the field.
Yeah. Yeah, it was confusing the way it was set up over there. I guess what I would say in that situation is, what's the upside of scoring there, and what's the downside of not scoring, right? Maybe a little momentum, but you're going into the halftime up, so you don't really care. But, if you could score there, that's a definite upside. So you take that risk, a calculated risk, if you will.
And it was an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against Ogemaw Heights, and that's a half the distance to the goal penalty. But when you're on the 2-yard line, a half the distance to the goal, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go for a safety maybe.
Let's see, and they're just going to take a knee. Eon Jones doing the smart thing for the Falcons, taking a knee there, but a momentum-changing play at the end of the first half as you had the Ogemaw Heights Falcons coming up with a big 4th down stop against the Gladiators. It was Evan Bellinger who got the handoff, and he wasn't able to punch it in to the end zone. So looks like that's how we're going to be going to the halftime intermission with the Gladiators up by 2 possessions. It's 21-12, and we haven't seen a score from the Falcons in the second quarter. They got all their points in the first quarter, and so far the Gladiators dominated that second quarter of play, Scott.
Well, you know, that is kudos right there to the coaches, being willing to make adjustments in their defense. How are we going to cover what they're bringing at us? And, you know, you got coaches up in the box. They're watching. They're seeing what they're bringing and making adjustments. I did talk to Ludka, Coach Ludka.
Yep, Josh.
And he was telling me the same thing, right? Like, I got guys I trust up in the box, and they're telling me what they see, and we're making adjustments accordingly. And he said the exact same thing happens with the defense. So clearly, the defense made some huge adjustments. Coach coming out to get an idea of what was going on at the end of that.
Yeah.
Maybe letting his opinion of it be known.
Yeah,
both coaches, actually.
it was a weird sequence of events. Let's just leave it at that. Let's wrap it up there, put a bow on that. We're going to
Hi, it's Kevin Klein from TVC. We're proud to help keep you connected to high school sports in Northern Michigan, so you can stay in the game all season long with TVC, your Northern Michigan connection.
When I applied for this job, I told them I was going to do it for 5 years, then get back to singing. 25 years later, I'm still here. Farm Bureau not only allows me to be part of this community, they encourage it. From teaching the choir, working the musicals, and now getting a chance to be part of this broadcast, I'm proud to support Traverse City St. Francis football.
Do you like the outdoors? Do you like action, being part of a team, and big machines? At Team Elmer's, we're not just building roads and infrastructure, we're building dreams and communities. And as a 100% employee-owned company, we value every employee owner with a commitment to excellence and a culture where everything we do it with heart. Every day brings new opportunities for adventure. Apply now at teamelmers.com/careers and to be part of something extraordinary.
Today's game is brought to you by Redmond Automotive, Pop Excavating, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport, Culver Meadows, Farm Bureau Insurance, Carter & Associates, BC Pizza, Alpers Excavating, Grand Traverse Hauling and Junk Removal, Edward Jones, Justin Liptak, 3 West, and Team Elmers. We hope you're enjoying today's game.
Discover Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union in Traverse City. We make banking secure and convenient with biometric logins and remote deposit capture. Whether you need loans, mortgages, or credit cards, we've got you covered. Manage your finances effortlessly with our online banking services. Grow your savings with our competitive rates and savings products. Experience the difference with Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union. Visit tcfedcu.org for more.
All right, guys, here's what we get.
BC Pizza, BC Pizza, hometown handmade gourmet.
Coach, what do we do? We get BC Pizza.
BC Pizza, BC Pizza.
Hi, it's Kevin Klein from TVC Airport. We're proud to help keep you connected to high school sports in Northern Michigan, so you can stay in the game all season long with TVC, your Northern Michigan connection.
Today's game is brought to you by Redmond Automotive, Pop Excavating, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport, Culver Meadows, Farm Bureau Insurance, Carter & Associates, BC Pizza, Alpers Excavating, Grand Traverse Hauling and Junk Removal,
Edward Jones, Justin Liptak. 3 West, and Team.
All right, welcome back in to the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport and Traverse Catholic Credit Union halftime show. Charles Strail all along my sideline counterparts here. I want to give a shout out to our videography producer. That's Isaac Dunstan out there. Scott Carter to my right, executive producer here, Jessica Alcorn. Looking live at the Falcon Marching Band here. But Scott, the story of the first half has been the Gladiator defense in that second quarter specifically, and it was some key stops, also the interception by Sam Wildfong deep within Falcon territory, but the Gladiators did have an opportunity for some points before the end of the second quarter that was thwarted by the Falcon defense right down near the goal line. There was some confusion surrounding that play, but so far you got to be pleased if you're a Gladiator fan with what the effort is in the second quarter after they had a couple slip-ups in the first.
Yeah, you know, I've gotten some comments coming through the text line or, you know, my cell phone as well, saying, you know, what was that decision? But again, I think you got to go back to the fact of what does it look like if you score there versus just taking the 3 points. And you have a lot of confidence in your defense because of the adjustments that you made in the second quarter to hold them scoreless, right? They have the one big one, and then other than that, St. Francis has done a pretty great job. I'm a little surprised that Ogemaw doesn't go a little more to their pass, but as you said, in that one second quarter, took a shot, and then you know, that kind of stalled out the drive. So
yep.
I think that, you know, if you're going kind of old school approach to offense, you run so you can pass, not the other way around, and we see what that did for them for sure.
So if you're just now joining us, it's been 14 straight points for the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators. It was once a 12-7 game, and then since then the Gladiators have been on the offensive and have made an interception, and most importantly have got their defense figured out ever since Connor Lambert for the Falcons had a 77-yard rushing touchdown on the last play of the first quarter. The defense for the Gladiators in the second half has really stepped it up.
Yeah, and that long run was a breakdown. It wasn't just that they could overtake them. It was a breakdown in the defense. Linebackers were in instead of out, and you left just your corner out there who had a blocker on him. So there were no big mistakes. If I'm the defensive coach, I'm saying, hey guys, look, yes. They got some scores on us. They made some long drives. We made a couple mistakes, but it's mistakes that we're making. If we can just come back out there, keep ourselves composed, then we're going to worry a lot less about the game because we'll make less mistakes.
Stay tuned, everybody. Coming up during our Team Elmers and Culver Meadows post-game show, we'll have a couple of Gladiator players joining us here. We'll bring them on live and give them some questions, hear their feedback of what hopefully looks like they can come out with a win here tonight if they're able to continue performing the way they did in that second quarter. We're going to go ahead and take one more commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have our thoughts and analysis looking forward to the second half of play between the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators and the Ogemaw Heights Falcons. You're watching high school football on Next Level Broadcasting, streaming live on nextlevelbroadcasting.net and on YouTube at Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back after.
Today's game is brought to you by Redmond Automotive, Pop Excavating, Traverse City Cherry Capital
Hi, it's
Airport,
Kevin Klein from
Culver
TVC
Meadows.
Airport. We're proud to help keep you connected to high school sports in Northern Michigan, so you can stay in the game all season long with TVC, your Northern Michigan connection.
All right, guys, here's what we get.
BC Pizza, hometown handmade gourmet.
Coach, what do we do? We get BC Pizza.
BC Pizza.
Do you like the outdoors? Do you like action, being part of a team, and big machines? At Team Elmer's, we're not just building roads and infrastructure, we're building dreams and communities. And as a 100% employee-owned company, we value every employee owner with a commitment to excellence and a culture where everything we do it with heart. Every day brings new opportunities for adventure. Apply now at teamelmers.com/careers and to be part of something extraordinary.
Today's game is brought to you by Redmond Automotive, Pop Excavating, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport, Culver Meadows, Farm Bureau Insurance, Carter & Associates, BC Pizza, Alpers Excavating, Grand Traverse Hauling and Junk Removal, Edward Jones, Justin Liptak, 3 West, and Team Elmers. We hope you're enjoying today's game.
All right, welcome back into high school football here on Next Level Broadcasting. Let's go ahead and put 12 minutes up on the board. We've got about 3.5 minutes until we resume play here in what will be the third quarter when we resume. Charles Strail along with Scott Carter here from Ogemaw Heights, just outside of West Branch, Michigan. If you're wondering where we're coming to you live from tonight, that's where we're coming to you live. And so far, the Gladiators have been looking alive in that most recent 12 minutes of play. The second quarter was owned by the Glads, 14-0, outscoring the Falcons in that frame, Scott. What are the Glads got to do to keep the momentum here in the third quarter when they receive the opening kick?
Well, I think the key is if you're a fly in the wall in that St. Francis Gladiator, what you're hearing your coaches say is it's 0-0. We got to go back out there as though it's 0-0. I don't care what the score says on the board. We need to win every play on the second half and establish dominance like they did in the second quarter. I mean, I sat here watching the first, hardly able to speak, thinking, oh boy, this is gonna be an issue. And it wasn't until they made some adjustments that they got there and made a big difference. I do want to point out one thing, and I think I talked about it before, but you know, a majority of these players, quite a few of these players, just got done winning a state championship on the baseball team, right? So when I played for the public school, we started August 10th. We had from then till the first game to kind of build some camaraderie and some chemistry on the field. These guys, these seniors have played together for 12 years. You know, well, probably not in elementary school. They did out in the field,
right
out on the playground. But you know, multiple sports. If you win a state championship in baseball, it might be a different sport entirely. However, winning is winning, and success breeds success. So I think they know what it is to be down, and they're bringing a kind of, they're savvy. They're bringing a swagger, if you will, like, hey, we've been down before. We just need to tighten the hatchets and tighten down the defense, and we saw that happen. resiliency is huge. It's key to success because, like we said at one point, bad things will happen. How do you respond?
And one thing I want to shout out here as we have an opportunity to do so, let's go back into the YouTube chat. Steven Stock saying he votes the whole offensive line as the hardest working player of the games. And just so we can give credit where credit is due, and Steve, I agree with you, and let's include both tight ends here, Scott, just because oftentimes in that full house set, the tight ends are part of that offensive line.
For sure.
So from left to right, that's Alex Jeter, Ben Eckler, Gage Walter, John David Carlson, Zach Winowicki, Garrett Russell, and Sam Wildfong, all working together. I mean, between all of those players, you've got 14 sets of eyes, 14 hands, all working with one brain to make sure that they're able to work in unison and allow these running backs to get open running lanes. And I will say this, they've also done a good job outside of one holding penalty, giving Tyler Endress time to throw in the pocket and find some receivers when receivers have been able to be found in this secondary. And we've seen some receivers running wide open, and credit Tyler Endress because he has put the ball right on open receivers when they've been running free in the secondary.
Last week we saw him almost as though he committed to who he was going to throw to before he saw what happened. And definitely a lot more calm and at peace inside the pocket. He's making some better decisions. It doesn't hurt that he's got plenty of time back there. His offensive line is getting him time. Steve, that's a great vote. I agree. Adam types in that I used to be his neighbor, and he's a heck of a guy. He used to ride mopeds up and down my subdivision. But and an opera singer. Well, that I used to be Adam. Maybe at your wedding, but not since then. So, but yeah, Steve for sure has a great point. That whole offensive line. How do you pick one?
Yep, and
right?
I think so far we do want to go back and highlight something, and this is new starting tonight that we'll be showcasing. And this is that's a pizza, that's a great play. And so far that play in the first half, that's a great play, was the interception by Sam Wildfong deep within Falcon territory that even the turnover battle and then allowed the Gladiators to go ahead and score their 14th straight point, setting them up nice for that touchdown drive. That was only 24 yards, capped off by that Cooper Sellers touchdown run. So that's a pizza. That's a great play.
That's a great play.
There you go. Right there from That's a Pizza, your hometown pizzeria, one of our different pizza providers here for Gladiator football. And I'm starting to get a little hungry.
Yeah, I could use one right now.
I know. It's one of those things that we'll have to work out.
We're going to have to figure that one out.
I tell you what, I just want to see the Gladiators come out hungry in this second half. They will receive the opening kickoff. You like that one, Scott?
Great segue.
Like
well done. I'm sure I'm going to check right now. I bet you my son's like, oh, that was a great segue.
And if the Gladiators can come out here and score, right now as it stands, they're up 2 possessions, 9-point game. Even though I think the coaching staff wanted that field goal, if they kick the field goal, it's still a 2-score game at the end of the second quarter. They went for it, didn't get it. But if you kick the field goal and get it, you're up 12. You're up 9 right now. Either way, it's a 2-possession game. But if you get the touchdown, then all of a sudden you've got a chance to put some distance between you and the Falcons. So this opening drive, well, we'll see what happens. But until we get a chance to do so, let's thank our halftime show sponsor, the Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. Listen, Traverse City Cherry Capital is your gateway to Northern Michigan, and now is the time to fly TVC. With a new year-round nonstop flights to Charlotte and also Boston Reagan via JetBlue. Flying TVC will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Maybe you're looking for a fall getaway or have some relatives down in South Carolina, Florida, or, hey, maybe you want to go out west Montana for hunting season and bag a big-time buck. Let TVC service you all fall long. Visit tvcairport.com for more info, flight reservations, and up-to-the-minute flight schedules for Allegiant, American, Sun Countries, Delta, United, and JetBlue, among many air carriers. At 7 right in Traverse City. Your local destination awaits you, and that's your gateway to Northern Michigan, your local connection, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. Let's see if the Gladiators can take off here. Running with the third quarter, they will get the ball, and well, I'd say the second quarter ended with a mixed note. Evan Bellinger was stopped, and right now we've got a due to the penalty.
They're enforcing it on the kickoff.
And that penalty was at the end of the first half because they couldn't enforce it near the goal line. So it's going to be enforced here against the Falcons.
Now, do you squib this?
I don't think so because
yeah, you better let that one go.
Right now, Braxton Lisinski is standing just inside his own 29-yard line. So no matter what here, Gladiators will get excellent opening field position.
Oh, look at that.
That was cheeky.
Yeah.
That was a cheeky little pre-snap play by the Falcons to see if they could get the Gladiators to flinch, but no biting for the Gladiators. Eon Jones puts his left foot down into it. It's fielded at the 35. This is Thompson. And he's down the sideline, cuts it back. Tyler Thompson, can he take it the distance? He's going to go all the way. Tyler Thompson, 65 yards. Kickoff return, put it on the board. Double T, number 2 in for 6.
Well, the problem I see right here is 2 pieces of laundry on the field. What the question is this St. Francis blocking number 22 out of bounds or vice versa? But I have a bad feeling about this one.
As it stands right now, it's a 65-yard touchdown return for Tyler Thompson. He made a nice move in the open field. Tiptoed down the sideline and then got through traffic. Let's see what the call is here. The flag was thrown at the 38, and it was thrown out of bounds. Personal foul against the Gladiators, so this is going to bring this one back. Actually, offsetting personal fouls here, so the touchdown is good.
Oh, nice.
So touchdown is good due to the offsetting personal foul penalties. Tyler Thompson, you can keep it on the board, sir. 65-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Tyler.
How about that?
That, again, is the result of downfield blocking. This whole scrum that happened out of bounds here was a very determined St. Francis blocker blocking, and, obviously a little bit of frustration turned that one into a little bit of a skirmish, if you will.
So lightning strikes via the Tyler Thompson on the opening kickoff, and Sam Wildfong on to attempt the point after. 27-12. 20 unanswered points for the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators. How about that? I mean, woof.
Now,
ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had an opportunity to see that just coming out of halftime.
Yeah, now if you're Ogemaw Heights coach, you got to calm them down. I mean, special teams are crucial to success, but those long plays, those kind of things break. Now you just got to go, okay, shake it off and let's get rolling. If you're St. Francis, you're going to ride that like a lightning strike.
And what do we've got going on here now? So these officials, are going to bring both teams back to their sidelines. And let's see I think the discussion here right now is were the penalties thrown after the play or are they thrown during the play? And are they offsetting? And what truly happened and when did it happen?
Looks like we're going to redo the kickoff.
So it looks like we're going to redo the kickoff. So unfortunately for the Gladiators, that penalty nullifies a 65-yard touchdown run by Tyler Thompson. So it'll also be interesting to see where the Falcons kick this one off from, Scott, because previously they were kicking from their 25. Will it be the 25 again? And it looks like it will.
It should, yeah. If we're going to just, say, all right, do-overs, come on, that was a bad play.
Yeah.
Well, then fine. We're going to start from the same spot. And I say let's, do it again. You're going to have to kick it because where you're starting on the 25, you can't squib that one. And so they're going to have to kick it back and probably to the same spot. Maybe they kick it to the other side this time. Who is that over on the other side?
It'll be, I don't think they're going to kick it to Tyler Thompson again. That's for sure,
right.
Scott.
So you got Lazinski over there?
It's Lazinski, Thompson, and the far side. See if I can see through the night sky here. It's a high end-over-end kick. It's going to bounce, fielded at the 28. Bringing it back is Braxton Lisinski, and that's where the Gladiators will take over at the 38. So a big swing of events here. 2 personal foul penalties nullify the Tyler Thompson touchdown on the kickoff return. So let's calm down and get back to football here, because that even though it did happen, it didn't happen.
Yeah, right. It's over. That, if you, I always used to tell my choir, and I'll come back to this in a second.
Here's Tyler Endress in the full house on first down. He's going to hand off to Lisinski, or excuse me, that's Daziak. And Ethan Daziak gets about 2 yards on that first down handoff.
I used to tell my choir that if you're driving and you hit a squirrel and you look back to see that you hit the squirrel, then you could potentially hit something else, right? So something bad happens, anything happens, you just let it be in the past. The past is in the past. Keep moving forward.
5 down defensive lineman for the Ogemaw Heights Falcons.
Yeah, it's that 5-2 defense they've been running.
9 men within the line of scrimmage in the tackle box. Lisinski's got it on the counter, and Lisinski's met by a wall of cheddar.
That's one of the players' names. Yeah, you called it cheddar. I love that. Chetty, number 68.
Yeah, well, he was in
Mason.
Yeah,
so definitely some cheddar in there. I don't know. Is it cheddar?
I was actually going by the color of the jersey, but
is it a school bus? Is it cheddar? Maybe let us know what you think on the chat line.
So here's 3rd and a long 5. Gladiators need the outside line of midfield. Empty set formation. Daziak, the motion man. Enders swinging it to the flat. Got a completion to Bellinger. Bellinger turns it up, breaks a tackle. Bellinger keeps it rolling. Rumbling, stumbling, fumbling down to the 30-yard line. As it stands right now, it's going to be a 25-yard catch and run, but there is a penalty marker back at the 37-yard line, and it looks like it's coming back, folks.
Typically is the case. When you're pulling out to the side like that, the defender's got the upper hand on you. It's just too easy to have your hand on him. And, you can't do that.
So that was a 3rd and 5. It's a hold. It'll back up the Gladiators 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Ball will most likely be spotted now at the Gladiator 35. So it'll be 3rd and 15. And if you're the Gladiators right now, if you're unable to get this 3rd down, this 3rd quarter has been a tumultuous start because of the penalties.
Right. I'd be giving it to Bellinger again, that co-captain at 6 foot 220. He really does kind of just work his way through people.
Here's 3rd and 15 now. Andrus looking to throw over the middle, looking for Sam Wildfong clearing out on that post route, and it's incomplete. So the Falcons force a 3 and out on the opening possession here for the St. Francis Gladiators.
Yeah, that's costly, losing that initial run back, trying to get your composure and score, and then to have the penalties. That'll just pull you back. So here comes the punt squad.
As the night settles in now, we've got a beautiful night for football here from Ogemaw Heights Field, home of the Falcons, and the Gladiators with a 9-point lead. It could be right now 16, but offsetting unsportsmanlike conduct penalty nullified a 65-yard Tyler Thompson punt return as Wildfong sends it away. It's going to bounce and check up at the Falcon 35-yard line where it's downed by Cooper Sellers, and that's where the Falcons will take over. So let's see how the Gladiator defense responds, because, Scott, you talked about it, and I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but you said it. You've got to be able to flush the plays out of your system, and right now the Gladiators need to flush away that touchdown that was nullified by the penalties, and they also need to kind of clear their mind of that 3 and out right there.
Well, and, if you flip this page, you're looking at a lot of the same guys playing both ways. So, that is the extra challenge to what you're saying about flushing the plays, because you were out there just a minute ago. However,
Here's a handoff up the middle and stacked up. Well, it looks like the defensive line is up for the challenge, Scott.
1, 2, 3, 4 players, 5 players on that tackle. That's fantastic. That's what we want to see a lot of.
Yeah, first Gladiator in there was Jake Reinick.
That's definitely one of the times where we want to just make sure that we're continuing that up. And what I'm going back to it, talk about broken records. Maintain that the end of the line. We've got to have containment.
Corey Canitz into the bottom of the screen. They're going to look to throw it to him. A double move. Cooper Sellers in coverage, and Canitz can't run underneath it. It was Cooper Sellers in coverage, as you see it right here once again. This is the second time that they've tried to put a double move or a play action pass to Canitz's side of the field, and he just wasn't able to track that one down. He did get some separation near the stem of that route, and now it's 3rd and 9.
I have a feeling when he went 4 for 4 last week, it wasn't those kind of plays. It was,
right.
The into the flats, all that kind of stuff. Those are so close, though.
Falcons now backed up, 3rd and 9. Not the down and distance you'd want. Here's a counter play, breaking a tackle and getting close to first down yardage is Elijah Smith. Far side line judge has it good for yardage, and that'll move the chains for Smith and the Falcons.
Basically said, hey, you're going to run the counter on us. We'll go ahead and run it right back on you.
Yep. A good play call, a good design. I wouldn't have said that that'd be their 3rd and 9 play call, Scott, but they executed it, and credit to them. They picked up the first down using that play.
That's probably why it was successful.
Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah, you're looking for a pass, something to end around or something, and instead, counter.
Jones and company, handoff to Marshall right up the middle. Marshall moves forward into Gladiator territory at the 49-yard line is where the ball will be spotted, and that was Ben Eckler on the tackle.
Yeah, that's just one of the cases where the offensive line beat the defensive line. There's no two ways about it. You got that double team coming down on you. You need to drop, make a pile, so they have to run over you instead of push you 5 yards into the defensive backfield.
Right now, the Falcons kind of going back to their bread and butter. They're in the I formation now with twins to the bottom of the screen. Elijah Smith and Canitz. And Marshall gets the handoff up the middle, keeps the legs turning, and he's got a Falcon first down, a gain of 8 on the play.
Now this is feeling a lot like the first quarter, where, they've returned back to Marshall and just running him right up the gut. You're winning at the offensive line in the trenches, and why would you mess with that?
Bellinger, the Gladiator who eventually brought down Marshall, and that's a collision course right there. Bellinger and Marshall, about 480 pounds of beef when those two bodies collide. Here's 1st and 10 from the Gladiator 43. Ian Jones is going to keep it on the design quarterback keeper. Put his shoulder down.
Oh, boy.
But the pile will be kept moving. And we've got a player down for the Gladiators after Ian Jones really laid the boom there. That's Braxton Lisinski, who's going to come off to the sideline there holding his right shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that's a stinger, as he's going to get checked out by Dr. Brian Kerr.
I don't, hopefully it's nothing.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's just a stinger. But
he'll get checked out by the team docs over there. Ian Jones really laid the lumber on Lisinski as Lisinski came up to try to make the tackle. Lisinski was holding that right arm as he was trying to get off the field. Handoff now. This is an I set formation, and it's Benson Keith.
This is one of those times where, you got one of your star players coming off. They're moving it resoundingly. I'm no coach, but I'd love to see, let's break up that momentum a little bit. You see it in basketball when there's the momentum's going the other way. You use the timeout to just kind of sway things.
2nd and 7 now. There's a handoff up the middle, still on his feet. Marshall with breakaway speed is in for the touchdown, 31 yards. Calvin Marshall, and just like that, it's back to a 3-point game after the touchdown by Marshall.
Yep, you see that coming right up the gut. Did we run a replay on that one? Because that's a beauty.
Yeah, that was a big-time run, a big-time response by the Falcons. And I got to say, what a swing of momentum here. Early on in this third quarter of play, you had the opening kickoff go back for a touchdown and then be brought back, nullified by a penalty. And Ogemaw Heights, when they get an opportunity to possess the ball, they go all the way down the field, capped off by that 31-yard touchdown run by Calvin Marshall. But I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that 3rd and 9 play call that Elijah Smith got on that counter. Here's the extra point, and it is no good, wide left. So it will maintain a 3-point lead after Marshall's kick was wide left. So the Gladiators up by 3. But, Scott, this game has changed drastically here.
Again, this is where you know Coach Sellers is going to grab his players. He's going to be like, okay, come on. We got this. We've been in this situation before. We need better blocking. Everybody stay on their blocks. We don't need the penalties, no holding. Let's just get out of our own way and create some momentum of our own.
Well, while we have an opportunity to do so, the Gladiators really might have to dig deep here to come out with a victory here. But let's tell you about Pop Excavating. Hey, Traverse City, can you dig it? Well, the friends at Pop Excavating sure can, specializing in septic systems, drain fields, house foundational footprints, land clearing, and wintertime snow plowing, and much, much more. For your next large-scale project, leave the dirty work to Pop Excavating. Visit popexcavating.com for more information. Pop Excavating, a proud sponsor of high school football here on Next Level Broadcasting, bringing you Gladiator football all season long now for the 3rd edition of Gladiator football. That's 3 years running now on Next Level Broadcasting. Charles Strail along with Scott Carter, and the Gladiators with a 3-point lead. It's been narrowed down to 3 after the Falcons had a touchdown on their first possession of the third quarter. And once again, it'll be Eon Jones getting ready to send it away for the Falcons.
Another squib coming.
It's going to be fielded at the 30-yard line, breaking a tackle down at the 44-yard line for the Gladiators. That's Alex Jetter. And the Glads will have pretty good starting field position, but one thing is going to remain a question. Will they have the services of senior Braxton Lisinski, who was helped off the field? And I do see number 9 back in the huddle right now, Scott. So it looks like he was able to get some attention and get himself back into the ball game.
So a stinger, not an AC joint, which
Right.
is fantastic. I've had an AC joint issue. You definitely don't want to see that. So I'm glad that he's back out there.
Thanks to our cameraman, Isaac Dunstan there, providing that great-looking shot of the huddle as the Gladiators come out in the shotgun. Endress flanked to his right by Bellinger.
Whoops.
A Falcon jumped, and that'll be an encroachment and a free 5 yards. Gladiators will take it, and it'll be 1st and 5.
Yeah, that's Carson Keith. He's a senior. He knows better, especially when you're right there on the line. But he's just geared up, ready. It got the momentum going. It's got you moving. You just want to get in there and tear somebody apart. But you're right there keying on that ball. You need to be anyway. So that's why he was patting himself on his head.
Little swing pass out to the flats. There's Tyler Thompson with that speed. Stays on his feet, and he's eventually tripped up after about a 4-yard gain. Eventually brought down by Corbin Canitz.
Looks like they're going to mark it short.
And I like the idea of getting Tyler Thompson the ball out in space. He seemed to really spark this team. Last year when they played at Boyne City, he had a kickoff for a touchdown. He had an unofficial kickoff for a touchdown here.
Right.
And I like the idea of getting him the ball in space, and it is marked a first down.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a nice, easy pass for the quarterback to get him kind of established in this third period.
Here's a toss pitch. This is Cooper Sellers, and he's met by a wall of cheddar.
Yeah, there was nothing doing on that one. They read that one like a dime store novel.
I like that. The first Falcon in on the stop was Matthew Bates, as the Gladiators have moved the ball into Falcon territory. This is a monumental possession right now. Can the Gladiators strike back after the Falcons have punched first early here in this second half of play? Here's Sellers in motion. Fake jet. Here's a handoff up the middle to Lisinski. And Lisinski's down at the 43-yard line. Give him a gain of 5. He was following the block there by Evan Bellinger. and that'll set up a 3rd and 3 for the Gladiators.
Yeah, once again with the counter. And sometimes the play drives me crazy because it takes forever. But obviously when it works like that, why leave it? All right, we're going to line up.
Tyler Endress and the Gladiators look like they're going to lean for some instruction here from the coaching staff. I like that.
Quarterback keeper would be my call.
Here's a handoff to Cooper Sellers. He's got a first down following the blocks from the right side of that offensive line. And it looked like the Gladiators got to the line of scrimmage there, Scott, saw what the Falcons were lining up in defensively, and then did a check with me. Offensive coordinator Josh Ludka said, hey, let's keep this play on. Let's keep it rolling, and Sellers picked up the first down.
I love it. Yeah, Sellers was initially flowing to the wide right and saw that they had plugged that up, made a nice little cut back to the inside, and first down.
Shotgun set now for the Gladiators. One receiver to the top and bottom of the formation. This is Cooper Sellers in motion again. He's going to get the handoff. Got to lead blocker from Bellinger. Sellers with speed, but he's run down from behind. Another great play by Canitz.
I mean, there's just no denying Canitz. I imagine if you're the track coach, you're out here saying, well, he's going to be one of my runners for sure. He is fast.
That was Corbin Canitz, just the junior, making a couple of really nice plays in space here for the Falcons tonight. If he doesn't make that tackle, Cooper Sellers can fly, and he might pick up a lot more yards. But as it stands now, it's a gain of no yards on 1st and 10. Gun 2 back now. Endress is going to keep it, and he's got the option, but he's tackled for a loss. Eon Jones, the quarterback and the linebacker for the Falcons, comes up with the TFL, and that'll move the Gladiators back about a half yard.
You know, earlier we talked about how lovely these Gladiator jerseys are. I couldn't see one. It was all yellow, as we were saying, cheddar or school bus, whatever their color they've picked. That's all I saw. So, you know, Endress does that quarterback keeper and looks and goes, yeah, okay, where am I going?
Right.
Yeah.
Not a lot of room to try to find a lane there. Here's 3rd and 11. Empty set for the Gladiators. Endress all by himself in the backfield. Daziak in motion. Endress looking to throw, setting up a swing back. He's got a completion. There's Daziak. He's got a wall in front. Daziak with the first down. Gets a block. He's still on his feet. Inside the 10. Inside for the touchdown. All the way. Put that on the board. 36 yards. Ethan Daziak. Gladiators go back up by 9.
I'm going to take us back to our nomination for hardest player of the game, right?
Look at, I mean, he just barely edged in there for the touchdown, and they set up that throwback play perfectly. But go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, well, it looked to me almost like, what is going on? There's no protection for the quarterback whatsoever, and you got Jeter and Eckler and Walter all out there ready for the screen. That was beautiful. Just stayed with the block all the way down. Wild Fong lining up.
This kick to put them up 10. Low snap. Wild Fong sends it through. Nice hold by Daziak. And Wild Fong and the Gladiators answer back. They go up now by 10. And whew.
You had asked a question earlier.
All right, we're back. Gladiators up by 10 after that 36-yard touchdown pass. Tyler Endress to Ethan Daziak. And that was the counterpunch. that you and I were calling for the Gladiator team after Ogemaw Heights scored first here in this third quarter. Gladiators go up by 10 now. Still just a two-score game. Sam Wildfong so far 4 for 4 on point after attempts tonight. Here's a high end-over-end kick, and this one looks like it's going to go out of bounds, Scott. So that'll be an illegal procedure kick out of bounds penalty enforced against the Gladiators. So the Falcons will have some good starting field position when they get the ball back. But on that last drive from Ogemaw Heights, they found Calvin Marshall again, and he paid it off with the touchdown. Gladiators really going to have to start keying on big 37 now to slow down and thwart this Falcon offense.
Oh, for sure. I think it's just a matter of winning in the trenches. I'm going to sound, again, like a broken record. But they opened it up. Now, he's a beast. There's no doubt about it. He's definitely a beast, and he's pushing people around. But, you know, when he's not getting hit until he's 5-6 yards into our side, well, that's indicative of success for him.
Here we go. 2:43 left in the third. Candace to the bottom of the screen. There's a keeper by Jones, and he's tripped up. A nice play from his stomach, making that play for the Gladiators. Check this one out, Scott. You're going to like this.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If you get hit, you go down, you get in the way. Watch this play where he's basically just in the way.
Trench warfare, and that was Bo Classens for the Gladiators.
Way to go, Bo.
From his stomach. Just reaching a hand out there to trip up Eon Jones to prevent him from gaining more yards. It goes down as a gain of 2. 2nd and 8 now for the Falcons. There's Marshall up the middle. He cuts it back. He gets a block. Marshall into the secondary, into Gladiator territory, brought down at the 45 of the Gladiators, eventually brought down by Adam David. But Marshall right now has found a rhythm, and so have the Falcons.
Yeah, in that one, what I saw was almost them allowing the line, the defensive line, with their ears pinned back to come upfield too far, and he just ran right past them, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have a little bit of control when you're on that defensive line. If you get through too easy, you expect either a cut block or that kind of play there.
There's another handoff. This time the Gladiators were ready for it and give them about 3 yards on the carry. That was Canitz. And looks like for the Falcons that they just want to keep this ball on the ground. They haven't had success through the air tonight, but right up the middle, that's where their bread has been buttered.
And, well, and the other side of it is you keep the ball longer.
Yeah.
That keeps St. Francis's offense off the field.
This time, Jones looking to throw. He's going to boot out, got a completion to Candace. He makes a man miss and is eventually dragged out by Sam Wildfong. But that will move the chains on the completion there to Corey Canitz.
Once again, another first down. We're seeing a little bit of watching some holding and that sort of thing. But none of it, we always used to say you're not doing anything wrong if you don't get called.
Okay.
Right? It's part of the game.
Jones hands to Marshall, and Marshall's met right away by a host of Gladiators. First Gladiator in there was Zach Winowicki, 53 on the stop, but Marshall still plows along for 4 yards.
Yeah, Zach's coming in there. If you watch that replay on that one, Zach is coming in really kind of standing up high.
Yeah.
So if they're going to come in standing straight up with a beast like they have running the ball, like Marshall, they're going to keep giving them 3 or 4 yards every time. Oh, there we go, flag.
Here's Jones is going to try to just tuck it and run. He's eventually dragged down from behind by Jake Rainick, but as you mentioned, Scott, flag on the play. Did it look like a false start?
Yeah, well, it was on defense.
Oh, so
would be
the encroachment.
Yeah, he almost fell. Just had the momentum on, too much weight on the fingers. It literally looked like he fell. Pretty sure it was Bellinger.
Well, penalty was not accepted.
Okay, good.
As there's a handoff up the middle. This time it's to Archer Thorson. Actually, that's Elijah Smith, and he's got a first down, And that'll keep the chains moving. Right now, we're down to 3 seconds left in this third quarter.
We're going to switch it up. Go to the other side, see if that can help.
So after the end of 3 quarters of play, Gladiators take a 10-point lead into the 4th quarter here. You're watching high school football on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back with the 4th quarter presented by Team Elmers and Culver Meadows coming up after this.
Do you like the outdoors? Do you like action, being part of a team, and big machines? At Team Elmers, we're not just building roads and infrastructure, we're building dreams and communities. And as a 100% employee-owned company, we value every employee owner with a commitment to excellence and a culture where everything we do it with heart. Every day brings new opportunities for adventure. Apply now at teamelmers.com/careers and to be
Welcome
part
to
of something.
Culver Meadows, Traverse City's premier family-owned senior living community specializing in dementia care. Here at Culver Meadows, we cultivate the perfect environment for your loved ones by combining our setting, scenery, and social interaction of our residents. We pride ourselves at being an extension of your own family here at Culver Meadows. Call 231-633-9430.
All right, welcome back in. Let's go ahead and make it official. 4th quarter underway now between the Gladiators and the Falcons. Charles Strail along with Scott Carter. It's been a great night for football. Right now, Ogemaw Heights trying to answer the bell. Handoff up the middle to Marshall. He's going to cut it back and is eventually dragged down there. Close to first down yardage. It was Adam David who eventually made the stop. And it appears that Marshall has the first, and that's 1st and goal now for Ogemaw Heights.
We saw the Gladiators on the sidelines with Coach getting probably an earful.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to who's going to win this battle, right? Are you going to get lower? Are you going to allow them to push you back? And so St. Francis at this point, even though they're a little bit comfortable with that lead, anything can change, right? So get lower.
Right up the middle again, and that's Marshall, and he's in for the 8-yard touchdown.
Untouched.
Touchdown, Calvin Marshall, and the Falcons answer back.
One huge difference between what they were doing before and struggling and this is that's a quick handoff. There's no chance to correct. You're either gonna, as a linebacker, you're gonna read that guard in front of you and respond, boom, or you're gonna miss that one, and that's exactly what happened. I mean, nobody touched him.
So this is a big play right here as they're lining up to go for 2. This would break that 3-point veil at the Gladiators. Right there, you see it, Marshall, and man, yeah, he's in.
Yeah.
He's in there, Scott. So put 2 more on the board, and right now, Calvin Marshall has come to play in this second half of football. And it looks like the Falcons went to the halftime locker room and said, hey, we got the biggest, toughest, strongest runner of the football here on the field tonight. Let's give him the ball.
They always used to say you got to dance with the doll that brought you to the dance. And that's the case. I mean, he was a force last week. Why wouldn't you go there now? And especially when your other stuff is not working.
And welcome back. Right now, we've got to show you this squib kick that just happened. It was recovered by John David Carlson for the Gladiators. And the Falcons tried to pull a fast one, but Carlson and the Glads were ready for it.
Yeah, junior, 6'2", 202. That's a lot of twos. He did a fantastic job getting his hands on it.
He put the two hands on the ball as well there.
Well done.
Endress, empty set. He's going to keep it now. He gets a block, puts his shoulder down, runs over Canitz, and Tyler Endress into Falcon territory, motoring his way for a 6-yard gain on first down.
You know, I had heard that he can bowl over people, and that was the case of his own player. I mean, he just decided he willed that one. I'm going to make a gain here, get out of my way, and made it happen.
Gladiators now at the 48-yard line of the Falcons. Second and a long 3. Got a hitch route dropped in the flats intended for Ethan Daziak. Maybe just a little too much mustard on that one.
Well, I mean, ideally, it would have been nice to have that on the outside instead of back on that back shoulder for Daziak. It did hit him in both of his hands. It would be nice for him to have grabbed that, but those things happen. It's tough to turn back, especially with shoulder pads on.
Scott, this 4-down territory here for the Gladiators?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But, you know, I've been wrong a couple times already tonight. So what's one more time?
Gladiators come out in the shotgun. Evan Bellinger to the left of Tyler Endress. One receiver down to the bottom of the screen. That's Alex Jetter. It's a handoff. This is Thompson looking for the edge, and he's got it out at the 45-yard line. Tyler Thompson here. Take a replay of this one. So that jet motion again. And this one's spotted inside the 40. It'll keep the chains moving, but he had to go out, and then he outran for the first time tonight Canitz.
You got Jetter there blocking all the way downfield. Nice job by him. I'm told we talked about him being one of the brightest kids and has an amazing work ethic. He didn't let off that block.
And the speed of Thompson paid it off to move the chains for the Gladiators. And there's a false start.
Yeah, can't afford that.
Looked like Ethan Daziak was a little bit anxious there for that one. Maybe he was getting the ball on a play-action pass.
Probably the case, yeah.
So that'll be a 5-yard false start. Push the Gladiators back to the 48-yard line. Yeah, that's one of those where it seems like the person who false starts, if they're in the backfield, they're more than likely getting the ball.
You know, you just get kind of wired. You're ready to go. You're thinking, I'm popping this thing. And instead, popping it back 5 yards. But, shake it off. Come on.
That's right. We've seen the Gladiators respond multiple times here tonight. 1st and 15 now. Endress is going to keep it. He's going to put his shoulder down, and he gets that penalty yardage back, tackled at the 45-yard line. It was Corbin Canitz on the tackle for the Falcons. So it's second and, actually they mark it a little bit shy of the 45, so give it 2nd and 12 for the Gladiators.
Be nice just to be able to get 6.
Yep.
Get half of it here. Do the other half later.
They go back to that full house formation. That's 2 tight ends, 3 running backs in the backfield. Endress ducks it down, looks over to throw, got the pop pass, and it's complete.
Oh, beautiful.
Running down the sideline, tiptoeing out of bounds is Ethan Daziak. Let's take another look at that one here, Scott, because that's a nice pitch and catch.
Look how much time he has in the backfield as this happens.
And this fake, too.
Right there.
Really ducks down, and that sold it right there.
Yeah, it looked like the typical run that they would do. A lot of times they're passing out of the spread formation, and that looked like it could be the counter. So you had your linebackers kind of cheating up on the line, and that opened up the receiver. And then it's, that same thing I talked about. It's the schoolyard.
Yep.
Hey, there's the line of scrimmage. Pass it to me just before the line or the out-of-bounds line, and just a little pitch and catch. Well done.
Gun 2-back formation now for Tyler Endress in the Gladiator offense. Ball at the 36. He'll look to throw.
Oh, he's got a man
wide open. It's Sam Wildfong. Sam Wildfong has got it cleanly in for the 37-yard touchdown. Gladiators.
About a 15-yard pass, and then the rest a yard after the catch. Beautiful stuff.
And actually, correction, 27 yards, a beautiful flag route or a 7 route, whichever type of offensive school you're from. Wild Fong puts the Gladiators back up by 8.
You drop back and you're the quarterback and you see him that wide open. That's a tough pass. It's kind of like when you get you get the defensive ball and you're trying to do the layup. One of the hardest passes because he's wide open.
Beautiful connection there from Tyler Endress to Sam Wildfong, putting the Gladiators back up. Let's see if they can get this point after. And we've got an encroachment by the Falcons.
Now run that, baby.
Yeah, what do you do now, Scott?
Well, that's the one I was talking about with Coach Hooley. I sat right by him one time, and that very thing happened. He said, well, heck with it. Run the dang thing then.
And it's actually
it's against
the Gladiators. So
well, they probably won't run that one.
Yeah, we just made the assumption that it was an encroachment, but it was a false start indeed.
Well, that's not a problem for Wildfong. I mean, he's going to be able to – he's been hitting it 15, 20 yards.
So right now he's teeing this one up from his 15-yard line. It would be
25-yarder.
Yeah, 25-yard extra point. Sammy's got the leg.
Just relax.
Jack Young, the snapper. It's a high snap. Daisiak gets it down. Wildfong puts it up, and he puts it through.
I want to talk about how important that snap is, right? We saw a couple botched snaps earlier. Jack Young is born. Would love to ensure that this is going to be a win for the Gladiators. They seem to be doing that work. However, I have a feeling this Ogemaw Heights offense is going nowhere. Here comes Wildfong. Probably, it's getting cold out, so that ball might not be as easy to kick as far. From the 5-yard line. Oh my.
All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, we do have an injured Gladiator down on the field.
Number 8.
That will be for the Gladiators, Adam David, who's going to get helped off the field.
You come down there full speed. Sometimes it's easy to get clocked, and that play, he broke it to the right side, and that's one of those cases. If we watch the replay, we probably see that. Holding call against the Falcons.
Yep.
That would explain a little bit that second spurt that he had. But we saw a lot of arm tackles in that, and I'd love to see the Gladiators wrap him up and get that down. But glad to see David's okay.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be 1st and 10 now. I apologize, we got some scoreboard technical difficulties. We'll get those worked out, but we are live here still as there's a misdirection play in the backfield. Cannons has it and
Bo Classens.
And Bo Classens making another play in the backfield for the Gladiators.
I used to love that. I played defensive tackle, and we'd get that call. I'd go strong left, strong right, and I would take the offensive lineman with me, and that's exactly what happened. Bo cheated up. That was a called play for sure, right from the beginning. 73, he's down there and just took his offensive lineman out of the way and made room for Classens to get in there and make that touchdown. Touchdown. Hello.
Tackle,
thank you.
2nd and 10. And Jones is booting out to his left. He's got a completion to Cannons on the far side. He slips through one tackle, eventually brought down at the 40-yard line, but he'll move the chains. And Scott, this game has turned into an old-fashioned shootout.
It definitely is. I mean, don't count either team out. They're going to keep battling. These coaches have a long tradition of hard-played football, and these obviously are some well-conditioned teams, and so it's going to be a fight right to the very end.
And I think one thing both teams would be thinking of is that goal line stand the Falcons made at the end of that second quarter. Gladiators could be up right now 38-26. But Jones is going to look to roll and pass. Looking, throwing deep now down the sideline. Cannons has got it. And he's tackled at the 25. But a huge completion there from Eon Jones to Corey Cannons. Take a look at this one, Scott.
Yeah, watch Lozinski. He got greedy there. He thought,
yeah.
It looked like he thought, oh, I'm going to be able to pick this one off. So he cut underneath, and you take that chance to maybe make that interception. Unfortunately,
33-yard completion there.
Great pass.
Jones to Cannons.
Here comes Marshall right up the gut.
Yeah, they haven't featured him yet, and he's going to get the rock, and he's tripped up in the backfield. A nice play by Michael Frederick. First time we've called his name tonight. He's playing nose guard, and a lot of times he's getting double-teamed, but he was able to kind of grub underneath the block of the center, and Frederick making a nice tackle there to prevent Marshall from getting away.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's really the key is who can get lower, right? He's 5'8", 190 pounds. When we played, our average weight was 175.
Okay.
But, you get low. And look at him right there. He's 6 inches off the ground.
Marshall, the single back now behind Jones. Falcons moving some people around. Now Cannons gets the toss, and he's going to try to cut it up inside, and he's brought down.
75.
A nice play there by the Gladiators, eventually tracking down the speedy Cannons. That's John David Carlson.
Yeah, that was great to see him come along, see the pulling guard, and respond, and get over there and make the tackle.
I want to give a shout out to the Carlson family and the mother of John Carlson, a Westerman from Gaylord, Gaylord St. Mary Snowbird, my high school alma mater.
There you go.
Here's 3rd and 5. Jones rolling to his right, got a completion. Guess who? Cannons has it, and he's got first down yardage near the sticks. He's out at the 15-yard line, so that'll move the chains. And he's certainly established himself as the go-to guy for this Falcon offensive unit.
Yeah, that was good hands. Great way to just pull that in. And, we established they could pass from last week, 4 for 4.
Jones turns and hands to Marshall. He'll cut it back. Marshall with a head of steam, tiptoes in. Touchdown, Calvin Marshall. Touchdown, Falcons. Woo! And we've got a barn burner cooking here right now.
I don't understand why they would do anything other than run him right up the middle.
He made a nice little cut at the point of attack.
He's a beast.
And he was able to punch it in. So Calvin Marshall has been putting this Falcon team on his shoulders, and the 1-2 punch on the outside, it's Cannons. Right up the middle, it's Marshall.
Here we go with another field goal attempt. Where's the umpire running?
Just the point after, this to make it a 2-point game. Jones, and it is no good.
Wow, he had distance.
So it maintains a 3-point margin. Gladiators up 35-32, and I get the sense that it's whoever has the ball last here, Scott, is going to be able to maybe even knead the ball out and just kind of hang on for dear life, because this one has turned into a rock fight.
Well, how many points is that now Ogemaw has missed out on? At least two two-point conversions and 2 field goals. Right, so 6 points. That's the game right there. That's a huge difference. Special teams, very important.
We're going to go ahead and step aside as we catch our breath, because we got one whale of a game here with 6 minutes and 50 seconds remaining. You're watching high school football on Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back. All right, welcome back. We've got 6 minutes, 50 seconds left to go to determine a winner here between the Ogemaw Heights Falcons and the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators. Thanks for tuning in and making us a part of your Friday night festivities here. Falcons kicking off from their 40-yard line. Eon Jones.
Another squib.
Another squib. It's going to be fielded at the 37.
What was that?
And it's Ethan Daziak just taking a fair catch.
Took a knee.
Yeah.
Could have gotten a few more yards.
I mean, I'm okay with it. He secured the football right now for the Gladiators. The possession of the football is the most important thing. The Ogemaw Heights Falcons have put 20 points on the scoreboard here in this second half.
Right behind their guards and center. Jared Preston says they're a wall right now, and that's absolutely true. Their guards and centers, they on Ogemaw, they have been winning.
Tyler Anderson, the Gladiators come out in the full house 2 tight end, 3 back set. He's going to look to throw, pumps it, throws it out. He's got a completion in the flat. This is Evan Bellinger. He's tripped up from behind, and it's a first down for the Gladiators. Bellinger was waiting on the second, maybe third pump of the football by Tyler Endress, but
that's amazing. Yeah, he basically grabbed himself a lawn chair, sat down and said, okay, throw it when you're ready.
And credit for Endress of hanging in there. Credit for that offensive line for allowing him the protection he needed to find his final option in that route pattern, Bellinger, and get the ball out to the 49-yard line. A good drive starter. Here's a handoff to Thompson. Thompson going backwards and is dragged down for a 1-yard loss. It was Corbin Canitz stringing them out along the perimeter, and they just cannot outrun Canitz tonight with consistency.
We've been calling that name a lot. He is all over the field.
It's defensively Corbin Canitz, and offensively it's been Corey Canitz.
Yeah, the Canitz brothers are the Speed brothers.
Speed demons for the Falcons.
Canitz, for sure.
2nd and 11 after the 1-yard tackle for loss on first down. Gun 2 back for the Gladiators. It's a design keeper. Endress is keeping his balance. He's tripped up into Falcon territory. Eon Jones could have had him in the backfield, but Tyler Endress able to dance through that tackle. He picks up about 6 yards on that second down design quarterback keeper.
Marshall had to be about 4 yards up the field. So, he just missed. That was, we'd see where we saw Tyler stumble. Marshall was up there and grabbed him by the shoelace.
Yeah, and I like that design quarterback keeper. They have Bellinger as an H-back and then 2 lead blockers. This time the Gladiators send trips to the top of the formation. Endress motioning Daziak. He'll look to throw, rolling. Here's the play pass back to Daziak. He's got a lead blocker up ahead, and there's the play again to Daziak all the way down to the Falcon 35. He had a personal protector in front in Ben Eckler, and here's another look at it, Scott.
Watch him put his hand on Eckler like, come on, man, go. I love it. Just pushing him down. Keep going, keep going. Everybody makes their block there and holds on to it. That goes a lot further.
Want to give a shout out to one of the largest Gladiator fans out there, Chris Middleton, watching from home downstate. Chris, thanks for tuning in and always staying in touch. We appreciate that. We appreciate your support, and we appreciate your fandom and wealth of knowledge.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing. I had some opportunities to work with him in basketball.
Tyler Endress now waiting for the back judge to signal the play clock. He's going to turn and hand off. There's a counter spinning his way through a tackle. Is Braxton Lisinski. Lisinski tackled at the 26-yard line. He's got a nice gain of 4 yards, and he worked hard for that 4 yards.
I tell you what, I don't know what to attribute it to more, if it was just the defense with their ears pinned back coming through, or a beautiful hole for him to come through, and then, of course, a spin move on his own to make that happen.
Check that. Give him 8 yards on the carry.
Happy to.
And we've got a offset formation now, 2 backs behind Tyler Endress. Lisinski to the top of the formation. Andrus hands it off to Daziak. Daziak, clean line of sight into the end zone. Touchdown, Ethan Daziak. Put him on the board from 26 yards out.
26. That, once again, that both teams running that counter and that quick dive from the first back through doesn't give your defensive line a chance. You're either going to be there or you're not, and it's hard to adjust when it comes through that quickly. Well done, well designed play.
And neither one of these defenses right now looks like they've got enough mustard left in the tank to stop the offense of the other team. And the Gladiators have put another 6 points on the board. Sam Wildfong looking to go 7 for 7 so far, or excuse me, 6 for 6. Good snap from Young, good hold from Daziak, and Wildfong does his thing. 42-32 now the score, and it's back to a 10-point game. Scott, the Gladiators may have just delivered the knockout punch, but they still got 3:24 left to try and seal the deal here tonight.
Well, we saw them slow down the play a little bit, right? They wanted to keep them on their heels, so they couldn't like try and eat up the clock. Do what you do what got you there, right? So they kept the pace of the game moving. I would have loved to see them take a little bit longer, but now we're at a 2-score game, and with 3 minutes on there, you just got to hope you can get your defense out there, maybe rotating in some of the other players to get some fresh legs on the field, and hope that you have better conditioning than they do. Oh, hey, we just got some laundry thrown on the field, probably because the coach is about 6 yards out onto the field. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. He's not happy, though. I wouldn't be either if my team was down. Let's go back to the chat line. I saw some stuff come through. So Falcons, Julie Duffing is our track coach and our cross-country coach back at St. Francis. She says, Corey Cannett's 1186 in 8th grade. So, in other words, he's fast. Their track coaches hopefully recruiting. She would be. I'm with you. Tyler Thompson and Jetter are the fastest on the football, on the FB team.
Yeah.
All winter. So, yeah, there's definitely some speed on here. Rex is checking in, a 06 grad from Orlando. Go Glads. Thanks for following.
And if you're looking at the screen right now, we want to give a shout-out to our cameraman, Isaac Dunson, coming up from Mount Pleasant, allowing you to see some of these crystal clear shots. Isaac doing a great job. Isaac enrolled at Central Michigan University and also a Traverse City native.
Oh, well, there you go. So you got the double whammy.
Yeah.
He's from TC. I thought he looked familiar, but maybe not. And a CMU grad. Or a student currently.
The only thing that could make him better on just resume alone is if he had that Sparty next to his name.
Oh, I don't know about that. He's not going into farming.
He should go into camera operating because he's doing an excellent job tonight. That's Isaac, our head of videography tonight, as the Gladiators are making a substitution. Because of that penalty, Sam Wildfong is teeing this one up from the 45-yard line. So
maybe you squibbed this one.
Yeah, it was a 15-yard penalty.
Against the coach, I believe.
Yep.
So, yeah, maybe you squibbed this one so it doesn't go out of bounds, but it gets,
You don't want to give him a touchback here because then you only net 20 or 25 yards on this. So he's just going to send this one deep.
Maybe a field goal.
And it's through the back of the end zone. Sam Wildfong with a victory lap there. Kicking from the Falcon 40, puts it way through the Falcon end zone. So the Falcons will have the touchback. Down by 10.
He was like, hold my beverage.
Yes.
Watch this.
We're going to go ahead and step aside for a quick break. We'll be back.
Hi, it's Kevin Klein from TVC. We're proud to help keep it to high school sports in Northern Michigan so you can
all right. And here we are. Jones looking to throw incomplete, intended for Elijah Smith.
Yeah, then we almost caught it.
Yeah.
He had some heat on that pass. And Gabe Pfeifferich was back there, outfielder for the baseball team. Has some really good speed and instincts, but just missed that one. Good try. We play that zone defense. It worries me. We see some wide open receivers. Another pass coming.
Looking to throw deep down the sideline. He's got Canitz, and he's just not able to track that one down. Nice coverage there by the Gladiators. It was Gabe Pfeifferich. Actually, check that.
Yeah, is that
Braxton Lisinski and Pfeifferich.
Numbers are hard.
Yeah, 9 and 6.
Yeah.
Throwing me off there, but the initial coverage applied by Pfeifferich. Lisinski just came into frame just in case he needed some help.
Well, yeah, that safety over is crucial, especially if Pfeifferich is going to be going underneath and trying to make that interception. You need to know your safety has your back, and these kids have been playing together for a long time. It's nice to see if you watch them talking out there.
Here's 3rd and 10. Jones looking to throw. He's stepping up in the pocket. He's going to have to scramble, and he's decked at the 24-yard line. So a 4th down coming up now for the Ogemaw Heights Falcons. Eon Jones just said, hey, I got nobody open, and credit the pass rush there.
Right.
And also the coverage by the Gladiators. Jones's first read was not there.
Yeah, there was nowhere for him to go. I'm guessing they're going to go for this here. You're kind of in 4-down territory, being down by 2. Ideally, your offense is predicated around the run, and that's a little slower offense, and that's what seems to have caused them to make this switch.
Here's 4th and a long 6. We've got a timeout taken here by the Falcons, and that's head coach Chad Miller wants to make sure he's got the best play dialed up here on 4th and medium, because this, Scott, could be the game.
Oh, for sure. This is a play that you go to you're probably going to go to one of the canvases, right? Yep. And got to make sure everybody's understanding what's happening as far as the defense coming in. Everybody do your job.
And at this point in time, we do want to award the Team Elmer's hardest working player of the game tonight. That is Ethan Daziak. His ability to break tackles. We saw him score on the ground. We saw him score through the air. And I'm going to do co-hardest working player of the games tonight, because I also want to give a shout-out to Tyler Endress tonight.
Oh, for sure.
A beautiful night passing through the air, and he's really steered the ship for the Gladiator offense tonight.
Yeah, he looked so much more comfortable and composed tonight.
Jones booting to his left. This is the game. It is not caught. It looked like it skipped. We've got conflicting signals by both officials. Let's go ahead and run that one back.
Yeah, please do.
So you're going to see this right here. I'm 99% certain that this ball took a skip in there, and it did.
Yeah, but we're going to have to show the refs that, because it looks like they're arguing over whether or not. I mean, unfortunately, they don't have the advantage of our replay.
Let's go ahead and run that one back one more time, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to see this ball skip. I mean, that was clear as day.
Unless you're behind him.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The far side line judge didn't have the angle to make the call.
And yet he did.
So,
that's key, right? Like when when you're playing a game, you're not just playing against the 11 players on the other side. The crowd is impactful of the game, and so are these refs. So what do? Nothing you can do other than pull up your bootstraps and get back at defense.
Right. Jones looking to boot to his right now. He's got a lot of pressure coming at him. It's intercepted. Intercepted right there on the near side sideline. Huge play right there by Gabe Pfeifferich. And that, my friends, could seal the deal. Here's the replay. Gabe Pfeifferich on the ricochet. Look at that. What a play.
I'll take that.
Pfeifferich. That's the second interception of the game. And that is That's a pizza. That's a great play.
That's a great play.
Gabe Pfeifferich on the ricochet, coming to put the nail in the coffin.
To talk about pizza, he really delivered there.
He did.
Yes. And
to your doorstep, right?
Right to your doorstep. And that's the pizza we'll also deliver to you. They have 3 locations in Traverse City, and I'm getting hungry.
Yeah.
So, Troy, maybe put one on the doorstep for me when I get back.
And that was a great play by Pfeifferich.
Just being in the right place at the right time, for sure.
Gladiators come out in the shotgun.
I would say we're going to use up a lot of clock here.
Yeah, the clock will not start here because it was a change of possession.
Right.
So Endress is going to keep it. He's going to run through a tackle. That was Marshall, who could not get him down in the backfield. Credit the 6'2", 215-pound frame of Tyler Endress to run through that tackle. And the clock will be stopped with 2:14, and that was a timeout taken by the Falcons, I believe.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah, that's
by Ogemaw.
And while we have a timeout taken on the field, we're going to keep it right here and give a shout out to Traverse Catholic Credit Union, celebrating 75 years, just like the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiator football team is. That's Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union. Also, Alpers Excavating. Listen, they're a fourth-generation St. Francis family that is proud to support St. Francis Gladiator football all season long. Family owned and operated, and proudly featuring services for residential, commercial, municipal, land development. That is Alpers Excavating. We want to thank all of our show sponsors tonight for making this presentation of Gladiator football available to you wherever you find comfort from. That's our friend Scott Carter with Farm Bureau Insurance, 3 West Commercial Real Estate, Traverse Catholic Federal Credit Union, Team Elmer's, Pop Excavating, the TVC Cherry Capital Airport, Justin Liptak with Edward Jones. Here's a handoff up the middle to Lisinski. And Lisinski's got 5 yards, or maybe 4 yards there on that second down carry.
Kudos to Russell right there.
Yep.
Nice block.
Timeout taken by the Falcons once again, while we once again want to thank our sponsors, Justin Liptak with Edward Jones Investments, Culver Meadows, Alpers Excavating, Redmond Automotive, and Pop Excavating. Also, BC Pizza and That's a Pizza for bringing this game to you live tonight. We're here live, so you don't have to be.
Right.
And it has been one spectacle if you're a fan of offense.
It was an amazing night, but now there's a pretty cool breeze out there, so you'd be thankful that you're able to watch this from home. We're watching some cars pull away already. Some fans are beating the cold, if you will, getting into their car and pulling away. But what a game. What an amazing thing to be able to, see St. Francis face some adversity and respond. They're going to come out. They're not quite to victory formation time yet, but definitely doing what they can to get everything off the clock.
Yeah, got to make sure you keep control of the football. There's a handoff to Daziak, and he's tackled for a 1 yard loss. The ball marked at the 36. Or 35, excuse me.
Pretty much right on the 35.
1:46 remaining on the game clock.
It's running, yeah. So, if you're St. Francis, you're using up every second you can of that play clock. 10-point game. That's huge. We got some conversations going on in our chat line between Tanner and Steve. But basically, Tanner's pretty happy for Ferrick with it. Scrimmy Timmy with 2 interceptions. What a performance. Absolutely. I mean, that's always fun when you can be there and that ball just happens to pop into your hands. I mean, that's a fantastic thing for sure. St. Francis off to the side to talk it over a little bit more. I think it was their timeout. Yes, it was. And while we're doing that, I'll go back to this chat line. Thomas Gallagher. How's it going, Mr. Gallagher? Says, go Glads. Jared Preston, we talked about him earlier. Yeah, this is definitely been a great opportunity. I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad that you're here checking this out. Huge thank you to all of our sponsors, because that's what makes this possible. We've for years listened to it and enjoyed it on the radio, but to be able to see the game when everything is connected and good, we definitely have a lot more luck at the home field. But this is an amazing thing to see, everything that's going on behind the scenes here. Here come the Glads. I imagine again they're going to take their time, try and gain some yards, just run out that clock.
It'll be 3rd and 5. 1:15 left to go in the fourth quarter. Tyler Endress is going to boot and pass over the middle. He's got Bellinger. Bellinger dropped it, and the clock will stop. Did the Glads get a little out in front of themselves there, Scott?
Well, I think it's pretty easy to sit up here and second guess every call that comes. What could he be thinking? He could be thinking, well,
if you catch it, it's a game ender.
It's that's a first down if you catch it, and we can go from there. Was that fourth down? Turnover on downs?
Yeah. So fourth down.
Well,
so why not?
You punt it or you go for it. Yeah. No big deal. No harm, no foul.
1:10 left to go. Eon Jones under center. He's looking to throw, boots it out, got a completion to Marshall in the flat. Marshall is through 2 tacklers into Gladiator territory, still on his feet, and he's tackled inbounds. So the clock will wind once the chains are set.
Heads up play.
Well, that's one thing Marshall should have got out of bounds there, Scott, because the Falcons are going to have to get to the line of scrimmage. The clock will stop while the chains are set.
They're not in a hurry down there either.
No, they're not. They're making sure that this Falcon team can catch their breath.
Oh, they're winding the clock, yeah.
Now the clock will wind.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Do they spike it here?
No.
Nope, they're just going to boot out, look to throw. Jones now rolling. Got a completion there to near side to Keith. And Brenson Keith also tackled inbounds.
Tough play for the defender on the end there. He's there to contain the quarterback. And then when he finally decides to bite on the quarterback, he dumps it over his head.
But both completions there for the Falcons tackled inbounds to Marshall and then Keith, costing them probably 10 to 12 seconds. Jones rolling out. Now he's got a completion to Canitz, and Canitz will go out of bounds wisely before he's ushered out of bounds by Five Farrick.
If I'm Five Farrick, I'm pulling him back in.
You're coming with me.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you stay out here? Let's let that clock roll. Nah. You're thinking, I can pummel this guy.
33 seconds left to go in the game. Eon Jones with Marshall, the single setback behind him. Jones rolling to his right again, puts it up for grabs. And it was intended for Canitz in the end zone, overthrown. It was double covered, but Canitz did have a step on the Gladiator secondary.
Here's where that play was messed up. We rushed from both edge rushers came in, and so Jones is throwing that off his back foot. You watch a quarterback when they're throwing on a dime, they're stepping into that front foot and coming through with all the motion of the body, right? The arm is moving forward.
Yep.
It's almost impossible to throw when you're stepping on the heel of your back foot. And great job with the pressure on him and the errant throw. Otherwise, like you said, receiver's wide open.
So, Scott, with 28 seconds left, I do have to give another honorable mention for our Team Elmer's hardest working player. That is Gabe Fife Farrick. 2 interceptions on the evening.
Nice.
And 1 for him, 1 for Wildfong, but Fife Farrick making that play there as there's a pass almost intercepted by Tyler Thompson.
Thompson had that so close. He's like, I want overs on that one.
The official stat line there is 1 pick for Wildfong, 1 pick for Fife Farrick, but man, just so many great individual efforts tonight for the Gladiators, and it's shown based off of the team success so far. They've just got 23 seconds left to put the finishing touches on this.
Love to see so many different players involved here. We talked about this at the beginning. We named 1 or 2 names.
Yeah.
The Gladiators are a whole group of names.
They're looking to throw. Now Jones puts it up for grabs. It's intercepted there at the 5-yard line. Braxton Lisinski, he's going to come back out of there with it. He's eventually tracked down from behind. Let's go ahead and take a replay of this one. Scott, talk me through it.
Well, you got the pressure on the quarterback, right? He goes to step forward, but he can't. And that just throws it up for anybody's grabs. And so, a 35-yard return? That's fun. That is, you dream about that as a defensive player.
So how about that? 3 defensive takeaways for the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators secondary tonight. And it looks like they're going to walk away with a win. The penultimate play right now, Tyler Endress and the Gladiators coming out in victory formation. And a hard-fought game that they've fought through some adversity here. And this is the best play in all of football.
Unless you're on the other team.
And 12 in white puts his right knee down. And the celebration is on. Gladiators get a nice win here over Division 5 Ogemaw Heights Falcons. And the Gladiators move to 2-0.
Hey, I tell you what. I don't know. Look right there.
Right.
Gallagher, 74, that's what I love to see. The game ended. These guys didn't run off and say, anything other than, hey, man, that was a battle. And there was a lot of respect right there between that offensive and defensive line. Just really impressive. All the way across the board. This was definitely a challenge, and it was great to see them respond to that adversity that came through.
It should be a really fun post-game interview tonight on the Team Elmers and Culver Meadows post-game show. We'll have a couple Gladiator players joining us here, and it will be certainly fun. But before we send it to break, Scott, your final thoughts here, and just tell me what you're going to want to talk about on the post-game show tonight.
Well, I think one of the things that would be great is St. Francis takes this win. Each and every win is crucial and important. Enjoy the win. Celebrate all the way home. I imagine that bus, I can see it right across the parking lot. That bus is going to be loud and rowdy and all that sort of stuff. And then when it comes to Monday and you're back, okay, what can we do to improve, right? This team is not necessarily a state championship team yet. However, if they continue to grow upon that success breeds more success. And work on that pass, because the pass defense, because a lot of times those receivers dropped the ball. They were open and dropped the ball. So fortune went in our way in many of those. So I would love to see them crank down on that. The other thing I would say is kudos to that offensive line.
Yeah.
I mean, you're running both sides of the ball and having some success there. So they definitely need to figure out or acknowledge that and keep building upon that. And, of course, the heads-up play of Endress.
Yep.
That double pump is a perfect example. A younger quarterback might have tried to throw the first one, and instead he gave Gallagher a chance to get out. Bellinger a chance to break away from the coverage.
Well, we're going to go ahead and step aside here. When we come back, we'll have the Team Elmers and Culver Meadows post-game show here. Some player interviews coming up. You're watching high school football on Next Level Broadcasting, simulcast on nextlevelbroadcasting.net and on YouTube at Next Level Broadcasting. We'll be back after this.
Welcome to Culver Meadows, Traverse City's premier family-owned senior living community specializing in dementia care. Here at Culver Meadows, we cultivate the perfect environment for your loved ones by combining our setting, scenery, and social interaction of our residents. We pride ourselves at being an extension of your own family here at Culver Meadows. Call 231-633-9430.
Hi, it's Kevin Klein, PC Airport. We're proud to keep you connected to high school sports Michigan, so you can the game all season long. ABC, your Michigan connection.
Welcome to Culver Meadows, Traverse City's premier family-owned senior living community specializing in dementia care. Here at Culver Meadows, we cultivate the perfect environment for your loved ones by combining our setting, scenery, and social interaction of our residents. We pride ourselves at being an extension of your own family here at Culver Meadows. Call 231-633-9430.
Okay, welcome back into the Team Elmers and Culver Meadows postgame show. We've got some special guests joining us here tonight, and leading off for the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators will be our Team Elmers hardest working player of the game tonight, Ethan Daziak. Ethan, you're joining us here live. First of all, you had a great game tonight. You were able to have success both receiving and on the ground. Talk to us about what you see when you're out in the open field, just looking to pick up more and more yards and make it cut back. And, you were out there just doing your thing, man. Talk to us.
Yeah, I mean, I think you were talking about that screen pass.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, the blocks were set up great. Tyler, I think, rolled to the right, and the safeties and corners, they flooded that way. And then, yeah, it was kind of just wide open field, and I just followed my blocks. They did a great job. Yeah, I just followed them. They escorted me into the end zone. So
Certainly, and that was on the reception. But now let's talk about that counter that you ran to get in there. I believe that was one of the last touchdowns you guys scored before Sam Wildfawn caught that flag route, or I might got that mixed up. But this time you're on the ground, right? And you're now switching gears from receiver to runner. Walk us through that touchdown play that really felt like it put you guys over the hump.
yeah, I mean, give credit to my own line. I mean, I think they did a great job all night setting up blocks for us. And then, as backs, we got to be able to receive and run the ball. That's what we got to do at St. Francis. So, that's what we practice, and that's what we showed out here today. So.
Well, hey, we want to say thanks, Ethan. I know Scott has a quick question for you as well before we keep it moving.
I just want to say it was awesome to see the composure that you kept. And, as a senior, you're going to lead a little bit, right? When things get tough, things get down. What do you think was one of the things leading the composure of the team to say, hey, we can get through this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a great learning curve for us, too. Defensively, we didn't have a great game. So we just stayed together. That's kind of what the halftime talk was about, just staying together, staying aggressive, and that's what we did. We came out in the second half, and we finished the game strong. So,
Well,
Grandpa would be proud.
Yeah.
He would. Yep, he would.
So let's go ahead and bring in our friend Garrett Russell here. Ethan, thanks for joining us. Let's saddle Garrett up on the horse here, and let's get big number 77 here into the broadcast. Scott, I know you were singing the praises of the offensive line all night long. Garrett Russell, the right tackle tonight for the Traverse City St. Francis Gladiators. Garrett, you are live on Next Level Broadcasting. Welcome in, man. You got any shout-outs you want to give first and foremost before we get started?
I want to give a shout-out to Tyler Andrews, our quarterback. He really took control of the game after that third quarter start.
Yeah.
So he had great passes. That screen was beautiful. He just took control of the game. As QB1, that's what he should do.
And he really had a great game. He was on point. His passing was precise tonight, and it really showed on some of those key third downs.
It wasn't, and that only could happen with our O-line. I give a lot of credit to our O-line tonight. We had very clean pockets and very clean passes.
So one thing I want to mention here, Garrett, is when you guys go with that full house set, 2 tight ends, you've got 7 men on the line of scrimmage. But what we saw is even though you have 7 men, you've got 14 eyes, 28 sets of hands, but 1 mind. Talk to us about how you guys can work in unison so well tonight.
Yeah, our O-line unit is unheard of this year. We have a lot of veteran guys, a lot of experienced guys throughout the line. So throughout the practice, we just work on our coordination and communication, and we just get it done in the game, and it showed out in the field.
So, Scott, you got a question here for right tackle, Garrett.
For sure, Garrett. I called out your name quite a few times. You're not alone, right? That whole side, both sides actually, did some astounding stuff. But definitely we could see that you guys have grown a little bit. What do you think about that you've grown a little bit from last week to this that allowed, Tyler to have a little bit more time back there?
Yeah, we cleaned up a lot of little mistakes like jumping and holding. So once we got that all figured out, we were able to work as a unit, pass a guy, make sure the other guy's safe, and then get to your guy. So I think as a unison for line, it's very important for us, and we've grown exponentially.
Well done.
Well, we want to say thanks for joining us here, Garrett. We're going to go ahead and allow you to pass the mic off to your teammate. Let's go ahead and bring in Adam David, or excuse me, my apologies. It's Gabe Pfeifferich, the secondary start tonight. So let's bring in Gabe.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Hey, thanks for the shout out as well. Good call there. Good job tonight, Garrett. So we're going to bring in Gabe Pfeifferich as he's going to go ahead and get that mic going. Scott, it just goes to show you, this is a right tackle here, and the first thing he gave a shout out to was the quarterback.
Right. And the running back, he shouted out to the offensive line.
Right.
And that's that cohesive unit that at St. Francis, and that goes back to your coaching staff to work together as a whole, and everybody plays their part, and I think they just did that fantastically.
So we're going to go ahead and bring in Gabe Pfeifferich now. Gabe, you're live on Next Level Broadcasting. First of all, how do you feel when you are reacting to a play that you see as an opportunity, like a tipped pass? And I know you go through a lot of tip drills in practice, but walk us through that interception there on the deflection.
Yeah, we go through a lot of that in practice, make sure we cover that a bunch. But really, I was going over to tackle him, saw it go through his hands, and I kind of just went in, landed in my stomach, took it back, high emotions.
There you go. I mean, and one of those things that when you're in the moment, you don't even think, you just react.
Slow-mo.
Exactly. You see it happening right in front of your eyes, and we saw it up here in the booth, and it seemed like the ball after the deflection was just hanging in the air, and you were there to take advantage and make the play. Talk to us tonight about how you were able to respond after getting the first punch delivered. The Falcons went down and scored, and then you guys came back. Ultimately, in the second quarter, you outscored Ogemaw Heights 14-0, had a 9-point lead going into halftime. Talk to us about the perseverance and just sheer determination and grit of this team performance tonight.
Yeah, we really came out not too well. We got to fix some things on that part, but Coach really got into our head at halftime, made sure we're all good, and came out flying.
One of the things I noticed was that the change between the first quarter and second quarter, you guys made some adjustments on defense. Talk about that a little bit. What you've mentioned a couple times at half, Coach talking to you, but definitely your defensive coordinator made some changes between first and second period.
Yeah, he really put into our head that we got to be more physical. We were kind of being like passive aggressive and not really going to get the ball too much. So he really got us fired up there on the sideline. It was great.
Well, that's fantastic work. And we look for you guys to just grow upon this, take this success and build some more, and take us into the, well, it's a little early to talk about the postseason.
Right.
One win at a time. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but yeah, definitely I have a lot of faith in you guys to just keep growing.
So one thing, next week you'll be at Benzie Central. Last question here. Talk about the prep that it takes to go on the road. Is it easier to go on the road because you don't have the distractions, or do you find it more fun to play at home?
I personally like playing at home a little bit better just because of the atmosphere, but going and beating a team at their stadium is always great. So,
sure. Well, this is going to conclude and wrap up our post-game show tonight presented by Team Elmers and Culver Meadows. We want to thank our individual players tonight for joining us, Gabe Pfeifferich, Garrett Russell, and Ethan Daziak. For myself, Charles Strail, along with Scott Carter, our director tonight, Jessica Alcorn, and our head of videography tonight, the Traverse City hometown boy, Isaac Dunson. We say thank you for tuning in. This has been a presentation of high school football on Next Level Broadcasting. Until next week, we'll see you as the Glads head over to Benzie County to take on Benzie Central next Friday night. Tune in on Next Level Broadcasting. Mark your calendars. Should be a good one.
Welcome